Welcome to Electrify, the video show and podcast for electricians only, with your hosts Paul Abernathy and Jay the Basement King Grunberg. Sit back and enjoy the show. What up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of, well, I should say, probably the first edition of Electrify, Spontaneous Fun Friday. I'm your host, Paul Abernathy, with me, as always, my co-host in Colorado, the Basement King himself, Mr. Jay Grunberg.
Testing, 1 2 1 2.
Let's see if it brings you in. It's supposed to be bringing in you from the source, but who knows? Let's see here. Let me see if I can now check it again.
Hello. He says got him, so whatever you did might have Joe I think that's what he means. Now I can hear him. Okay.
Let me check. All right, so let's see here. Let me turn off this. See if I can now check it again. Just tweaking on here. Let me close all these.
That sounds like everybody says I can come in clear. What's up, everybody, man? Sorry about the
yeah, we were just testing.
In the beginning, but
what happens is I'm using
my love from Colorado to teaching every one of you guys, man. Happy belated Thanksgiving, also known as Turkey Day, man. We just, like I was telling you, Paul, my family came in this Monday. My mom and dad came in from Washington State, and they were able to hang out, man. We had a good time. Obviously, I was still working Monday to Wednesday. I get the 4-day weekend, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and hopefully all you guys out there get that too. But yeah, my family came in, man, Monday. They touched down about 9:30-ish. We went out to a place called Steuben's, which is a fabulous little local restaurant. I think they have like 2 locations. So we had to drive 30 minutes away, and after waiting to eat all day, you get a little hungry, but it was worth the wait. They have the best Monte Cristos. Let me just tell you that. The best Monte Cristos, and the jam that they have is delicious too. And then Tuesday we went to the aquarium, the Denver Aquarium. Took the whole family out there, the kiddos. Xavier got to catch up with Grandma and Grandpa. He hadn't seen them for years. I mean years. So it was a good time. Kind of like what you were saying. It's a time to get everybody under one roof if you can. Obviously my sister wasn't able to come and stuff, but seeing my parents was pretty cool, man. So we had a really good time. I'd love to hear what you guys had too for Thanksgiving. Obviously we have the turkey, the ham, but is there a certain type of a dish that you guys have out there? I'll tell you what, my wife made a killer peach cobbler. It was unexpected. I didn't know about it. She put in the cinnamon rolls. So she took cinnamon rolls, baked them, cut them in little pieces. And she cut them in little pieces, put it in with the peach cobbler mix, baked it. Oh, my goodness, man. Let me tell you something. That stuff was the first plate gone. And it's good when the first plate's gone is the peach cobbler. So
oh, yeah.
What'd you guys end up having? Did you have a special dish over there that you guys always make, or?
We had just a turkey. I think I put out a little video about that. We had a turkey and that, just stuffing and what is this thing they call succotash? Is that what that is when they put the what is it? The corn and lima beans together in one thing. We had that, and obviously bread, which I probably shouldn't have. All that, but it was it's about all we had, and it was a good day. wasn't like it was in the past. It wasn't like when I had all my brothers and we were all together and my mom and dad and all that kind of stuff. And we knew that would kind of, when the matriarchs of the family or whatever you are, the ones that, when dad, and then of course, and then you go to mom and then she passes away, you're like, okay. And then of course we're 1,200 miles apart now. So, but they did Zoom me, or no, we duoed. It's easier for my brother to duo. So we duoed. So I kind of got to be there with him. My brother was I got back home. He had a heart attack just a couple of days before Thanksgiving.
Prayers out to Chip, man, for sure.
We are thankful for many things, but we are definitely thankful that he is back home and is going to be hopefully do all right with medicine and all that stuff. But yeah. That's about all we did, and we sat around, and of course I spent a lot of the day, even on Thanksgiving, trying to tweak the software to get the stream and try to get things a little bit better, and just to kind of work in that stuff.
Looking really good, man.
Yeah, I mean,
looking good. Yeah. I like the fact that the chats, I was telling you earlier, the chats come in from the top going down, opposed from the bottom going up. I really like that. It helps me.
I can probably adjust that, but I think at the end, it was much better to have it scroll that way. That type of thing.
Yeah, I think so. From the top down, you get to see the new stuff coming in from the top, which is nice. Do you want to keep chatting about Thanksgiving, or you want to take some of these questions? I know
we got questions.
Kind of already talked to Frank about the best product ready for the master's test. We went over that. That's the Fast Tracks program. That's the link down low.
And there's demos of that, folks. Like if you didn't want to know what it's like, or you don't come to our Wednesday night session, just the link is on the screen. Should be in your chat. You feel free to click it, and you can go watch those demos. But do it after the show. Don't want to miss us.
Yeah, just enjoy hanging out, man.
Bunch of things we're going to talk about, probably all over the place. But
Bill has a question. What do you think the most significant change in the 2020 NEC is?
Where's
and
that
his
question?
Is 230.71B. That came from Bill on the Facebook side.
Oh, what do I think is the most 230.71B? I'm assuming you're referring to
his.
Well, yeah, but I think he's probably referring to the fact where you can't have 6 disconnect rule in a single cabinet. Is that what you're talking about, Bill? I believe that's 230.70.
Take a quick
71. Might need to look. I
got it.
I guess of the ones that are most significant to me, not that it changes costing wise, but I mean, I guess it does change cost. For me, the most significant, I would guess, would be the requirement in 230.85 for a disconnect outside, emergency disconnect. Most of the country did it anyway. I mean, and of course, you get so many people who say, yeah, but couldn't people come and turn your power off? Yeah. I guess you could, but you could do that anyway. And that was very popular out in the West Coast anyway. So, I mean, that one's going to raise cost. Significant other changes. Yeah, I guess significant in a sense that I used to do a lot of the issues with data centers and whatnot, and big industrial facilities used to bring the power into one big cabinet. And they'd have, they could have 6,000 amp disconnects there. I mean, it was easy for them to then come out and distribute it. And for some cases, it was cheaper than the full switch gear, but in industrial facilities. But not being able to do that in a single cabinet but you can still do it in vertical sections of switch gear and switchboards. So it's just gonna shift how people do it, I think, a little bit. But that's significant because people aren't aware now that you can't just go with the one big cabinet. But hopefully the manufacturer should catch up to that, right? And say, I guess you can't, we're not going to make them like that anymore. Okay. So again, that should take care of itself. But that is definitely, Bill, significant change that people have got to reel into it. And again, like you said, 230.85, you've been doing that for years. Not so, and if we did have a feeder and we wanted to locate the panel in the house further into the house, then we've been putting that, that disconnect outside forever, in order to change it over to feeders. So, not a big, not a bit of shock to some people, but to other people out here, they're like, oh, that's going to add another 350, 400. I guess the prices today, that's even more, right? Okay. Yeah, Finley says meter-based combo is his favorite. Absolutely. That's one way to handle it, that's for sure. We don't do many meter combos down here in Texas, to be honest with you.
All-in-ones, yeah. If you look at the Sparky Hub on the main platform, you'll notice that I do a lot of meter combos, meter service combos, all-in-ones for residential. Usually 200 amp, nothing too crazy. Anywhere between a 2040 to a 3040, just depending, because obviously I believe it's 23067D, could be wrong. But it pretty much, any upgrade I'm doing, whether it's an upgrade or new installation on a service, I'm putting in a surge protector. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one change that, hit us pretty hard, because you can do the surge protectors that are mounted on the bottom, or you can side mount them. And probably go.
Some of them aren't expensive, but some of them, they can be expensive depending on how it works. Whether it's on the bus or it's external, right, immediately adjacent or whatnot, they can get expensive. So yeah, they're going to add the cost to it, but you're gonna carry that over to your customer. So I mean, they're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean they're, and that's also a selling point too, right? It's the safety of their sensitive electronics in their houses to have that surge, and they'll probably double protect it, meaning like we'll put in the surge protector, whether it's the bottom mount or side mount, whatever, and then or the breaker style. I prefer the breaker style, but again, it just depends if the store that you're getting them from has that style. They're a little more expensive, should I say, than the bottom mounts, the exterior mount ones. I want to say the breaker styles are around maybe 100 to 120, depending on what manufacturer, and the bottom mounts are about 50, 60, and then plus the standard breaker, which nowadays is probably about $20 for a 2-pole 50.
$20 for a 2-pole 50?
Maybe even just a standard, and maybe it's 25. Maybe it's 30. I don't know, just something simple. So you're not saving a whole heck of a lot. Again, sometimes I look at it like this, right? If the product, like a breaker style one, snaps in, I take the little piggly tail, send it to the neutral bar, I'm done. Boom. That's it, right? Bam. That's all the labor I got. Opposed to maybe the bottom mount one, I have to find the knockout depending on what else is going into the bottom of the cabinet, and then also wire nut it or get because they only come with so far leads, so you got to put that breaker down low and mess around with your panel layout. So again, it just depends on what style you guys use.
Right.
But to answer his question, the biggest change for me that I face is 210.8A, where they brought in the through 250 volt for the GFCIs, right? So now you're doing through 250 volt for the GFCIs. So the laundry rooms, in the kitchens, if it's the ranges, within 6 feet of the sink, and that
basements
adds up, in general.
Basements in general, if you put dryer in there, it's got to be GFCI. So I mean, a lot of people put them in the basement. I mean, laundry rooms now, your dryer, GFCI protected. So So the change in the voltage, that's probably as significant. Manufacturers of GFCIs love it, I'm sure, but other than that, it's it's just an increase in cost. Now, Bill was saying something about, I think he was saying, now you can still have an aspect where you have a stack of 4, 5, or 6 for a multifamily, as long as there's a separate disconnect in each enclosure. So usually those meters are separated by vertical sections. So there is an allowance in there for you to still do that, still meet the 6 disconnect, but it basically is 6 separate vertical sections. And that would allow, as long as there's a main breaker in each one of those, then you'd still be able to do that. So they're still going to make those. Yeah. Or you can also, where you have the multimeters, as long as you have a main breaker, you can have a bunch of different, individuals and things like that, meters and stuff like that. So tenant side
just have that meters. main disconnect, and then because that's your main shutoff. That's your one, out of the 2 to 6 that you're allowed, or 1 to 6 max, and that's
something.
That's your main one. It's
something. Yeah. Texas used to have, and they got rid of it this time. Texas used to have, and I fought to get rid of it. Is they didn't have the 6 disconnect rule. They ignored it. They had the North Texas would ignore the 6 disconnect rule and would allow you to have an unlimited amount. And and we had to fight them. And they were like, well, we've been doing this for decades. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what the code says. Code's a minimum standard. And people hate the minimum standard. But you couldn't do that. And so there was that was a change that took place. And so we were like, okay, well, that's the key, is that you need to adhere to the 6 disconnect rule. So they changed it. But for years, you could, shoot, man, they let you put 10, 15, 20 disconnects grouped in one location, and they were perfectly okay with it in the Texas, where they made their amendments to the code. You know that? So
gotcha.
But yeah, so yeah, that's another thing. People hate the term minimum safety standard. We know that Chad was on the show. Actually, Jay, I don't know if you caught last night's rebroadcast of Electrician Live, where I brought back the old show. It was you and Chad and me. We did that thing about that was about an hour and a half. So I rebroadcast that one last night for the Thanksgiving show, and I know Chad hates the reference to minimum safety standard, but think about it, it is. Because anytime you say that you can go over and above code, that means you're going over and above something, right? And the NEC, you have to meet it. You have to meet the NEC. So therefore, if I can go above it and do something greater than what's in here, or more restrictive than what's in here, then obviously this book is the minimum standard. You get it? So for the folks that hate that concept, minimum safety standard, it is the minimum safety standard. You have to meet it. If you want to go above and beyond it and do a little more than the norm, go for it. But it is still the minimum safety standard that you have to meet, that type of thing. So that's why I used it. So we lost Jay. He's gone. He said, I'm done with this chat. He's out. Look, zombie in the background.
No, the little one, she just snuck in here and was getting on the table, and the kiddo, he had his shirt off. He's like, "You going live, man?" I said, "Yeah, we don't want to see all that, We don't
want to see all that.
Is it okay for me to pick up the truck today? Can you call AA Toppers?
There you go.
And see if
doing
they
business.
are.
So some people, they're
ready.
not off on Friday. See, Jay's working still. Are you guys off today, or are you all working?
No, we're off. But so Friday, or sorry, I said Friday, Wednesday, we brought in one of the trucks, and we're putting a topper on it. Right now, it has the standard, what do they call that, diamond gang box, or not gang box, but toolbox.
Yeah,
like the truck box on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice one. It's deep. It's pretty sweet. It came with the truck. But with my project manager out, I'm giving that truck to my next guy up, Jameson, and he does a lot of deliveries for me and stuff like that. And also he keeps a pack out, the Milwaukee pack outs, and you can tell they're pretty pricey, especially if you fill them up with a bunch of tools. And so instead of lugging them in and out of his house every night when he gets home, or putting them in the front seat, we just got a topper. So what we did was, it's a topper that the top is flush with the roof, and it goes straight across to the back, and then it's 2 doors. So they're going to remove the tailgate, and it's going to be 2 doors that open straight up. But there's no toolbox in there. You can open the sides. You can't see them, but you can open the latch, and the sides flap up to where you can get inside the actual bed of the truck.
Okay.
So it's your typical standard one, but again, it's
always upgrading, man. Always adding.
Always
adding things to the fleet. You know what I'm saying?
So I dropped that off on Wednesday to those guys. Never heard back from them. And so hopefully they're open today. So I just told them, hey, if you want to go get it, give them a call, see if it's ready, and then, go get your truck. So
yeah. So
and it has a ladder rack, like the standard aluminum style ladder rack on top.
Sweet. I remember when I came to Texas, I was going to outfit my F-150 to add a I can't remember the name of that brand of the type of thing that goes on the back that's like a extend your truck to almost like a, I think it begins with a K or an N or whatever. And it was a Nec or whatever it was. There was a it was going to be like I was going to have a work truck just for service work. And I ended up not doing that. Probably a good thing. So, because I don't go out of the field anymore like that. Unless I go out for troubleshooting for somebody, I have to constantly turn those calls off. So, hey, if you're in Texas in your local area and you want me to send the business your way, show me you're a good contractor and I'll send you everything your way, because I'm still a contractor in the state, but I don't have a desire anymore to do all that. It's that type of thing. So, yes, I'm on the retiring side of all that type of stuff. So, but I do still help people, that type of thing. So. Bill says something in the chat. Bill, I haven't looked at that. My mentality on whether or not the microwave to be on a GFCI, and I haven't looked at it. And I don't know. I know we've already done now and we're voting, so I don't know that one's probably would pass. But if that microwave receptacle was already within 6 feet of the sink, and many times it may be, depending on where your stove is.
Yeah.
Which I guess that would mean your stove is also within 6 feet, which would kick in the GFCI requirements anyway. So, yeah, some people might have been doing it already. And I will tell you, it should not trip a GFCI. Unless there's leakage current, it should not trip it. So, also, I've got I replied to a YouTube. I don't like to comment to YouTube videos. In other words, people ask a question. But they asked a question on about floating and bonded generators, or unbonded and bonded generators and things like that. And so there's a response, and I can't remember which video it was, but I tend to not answer code questions on YouTube, just because of the nature of YouTube. I usually tell everybody, if you want to send questions, go to the Ask Paul feature. And that's another thing that we do, Jay. As we mentioned, there's so many things that I got our hands in, and the Ask Paul feature is a free feature, and it's I can't verify that, Bill, and I am on Code Panels, so I will go look at that. But just because it's in there doesn't mean it's accepted. Unless you're on a Code Panel, you can't see what the final. And we haven't voted yet. None of us members have voted on anything yet, so we have to look at it and see. And I will go look at it. In fact, I'm doing a video on how to research the code, because I answered a question. I want to show people how they can go back and look at ROPs, ROCs. Now we have public inputs, public comments. And, they use a thing called TerraView, which is a little bit messy, but it's still easy to do.
Yeah.
Go back and look at the history and learn why things did what they did and what they've changed and things like that. So I'm going to do a video on that, because I think everybody should go back and look at the history, how you can see how things can get to, because I had a question on one of my Ask Paul's podcasts, Jay, and it was, do you need nail plates when you run MC or AC cable through a metal stud? And the answer to that is no, unless the AHJ thinks it's subject to physical damage. Otherwise, 300.4 A, C, D, and all that doesn't talk about, it's not specific to MC. Now, D, it does apply broadly, parallel with framing members and furring strips, but A only talks about wood members. So it doesn't talk about running MC, for example, through metal studs. So it wouldn't be required. But again, you could have an AHJ that'll say, well, 300.4 says this, and that's a general statement. But 330.17 for MC does not reference the general. It references the subdivisions A, C, and D, that things like that. So anyway, I got a great podcast on that. Go check it out. But the point being, and I kind of a long way around, the point being is go over to paulabernathy.com and you can submit for any electrical question you want, secret of life, whatever you want. So go check it out. I noticed that too. It looks like that the 2023 is not going to have any reference to F in it, which is, from what I saw. So that's kind of weird how that's going to work out. So TIA, temporary interim agreement. that type of thing. I think it's a bull crap anyway. I think that we should call out the manufacturers of those mini splits because they know they're leaking current and it's their problem, not the GFCI problem. Although GFCI folks love me when I say that because they're like, yeah, Paul, it's not our fault. But GFCIs are they're just looking for something. And if there's something that's leaking current or it's not coming back on the intended path, then they're going to operate. They're going to function. So it tells me there's something wrong with the mini split folks and they need to get their act together. Okay. But the reason that rule got in there, F was a death. So are we now going to negate the death because we're worried about mini splits tripping GFCIs? I'll let smarter people than me. So I'll do that. But yeah, Joe makes a good point too, Jay. He says he misses the ROPs and ROC. Joe, I do too. They are nice to see them in a PDF and you can get them. That type of thing. So I like that. Bill says 10 milliamps of leakage on certain Asian units. Yeah. Well, let's just say it. Mitsubishis and all those type of, I guess, is that the Asian unit? Bill, is you being political correct on? No, wait a minute. It's backwards. So anyway.
What's crazy is Bill said earlier in here that, that question I had about Thanksgiving and stuff that was crazy. He says, we had Weird Al over.
What does that mean?
You can hear about it on my podcast. Weird Al is a musician.
I know Weird Al, Yankovic. Yeah.
Yankovic.
Bitch. Do you know him personally?
I do not, but it sounds like Bill does. And I guess the reason why I bring this up was because that's kind of the whole concept of why we're building Electrician Live as a network, I mean, I don't know if Bill does only electrician stuff on there, but with that podcast,
he could be on Electrician Live Network. Contact me.
That could be on the Electrician Live Network, and it could hit multiple platforms just by a click of our button. And I think the reason why we're doing the Electrician Live network opposed to just the show is because we want to grow. And not only do we want to grow as us as Electrify, but we also want to help you guys grow and have you guys help us grow as well because we're all in it together, man. He says it was a pretty funny. I did a joke on my podcast. That's cool, man.
So let's do that, Jay.
I can't wait to hear that.
Let's tell people out there, if you have podcasts, if you have videos, a channel, and you want to be on Electrician Live Network and featured there on that, as that slowly changes from where it is now to what it's going to be, reach out to me and let me know. Because, and again, we're going to, it's I guess the overtone is electrical. But again, it can have other different things. Again, like electricians. Now, what I won't have on the show or what I won't have on the network, I have to say, is I'm not really going to have people on there that just go on there goofing around and spend 3 hours just cussing and acting like a fool, because that's not what I do. That's not what the network is supposed to be designing for. It's for informative, but having fun. So comedy's fine as long as it, is focused on, like for this, electricians are talking about other topics. That's what Electrify is going to be about. So, but yeah, we keep it as clean. I shouldn't say PG because everybody, it is what it is today. But that type of thing. So it'd be cool. Stalcup, Stalcup Jr., the younger, is probably taking over more for his dad's daddy. I met his dad years ago. Conferences, great guy. They're great guys. So again, we're going to open that network up to everybody. So, it's not so, cause people ask me that. They say, Paul, you own Electrical Code Academy. You teach people. You're an educator. Yes. But that's not what Electrician Live Network's about. That's about anybody. So I could have competitors on that. That's to get the message out. Now, if it's just a marketing platform for people, then we're not interested. But if they really have some content they want to share with people, there you go. We're creating that network for that. And it will be promoted starting in the new year. It will be heavily promoted. And that's to allow other educators, other providers, to other shows, other podcasts to get their message out there, and we share it, that type of thing. And we're going to share Electrify there too. and Master the NEC's podcast, the educational ones. Ask Paul podcast, which is different. That'll be shared there as well. So again, it'll be a broad platform. So Bill, if you're interested, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy.
Aren't we? I know we talked about too doing those electrical blunders possibly together too, instead of it just being yourself, but have myself on there with you, which is pretty cool because I always see stuff, out here in the field. I see common stuff that you guys probably see, and then I also probably see stuff that you guys don't see. And
we got some good ones, Jay. We have some good ones to review. I've got about 15 or so that I've got a list of that would make for great us to do one of our Electrify shows. It'll be just looking at it, cracking open a beer. If you don't drink, sorry, crack open your water or whatever you want, and we're going to call it out. That'd be fun.
I got crap because the other night I was drinking Coors Light, and
if I'm not going to get it because of
like,
this, if I don't get it because of this, Jay, then Coors Light is a
that's
little
what I'm
bit
saying.
stronger than this, probably.
I don't hear anybody chiming in about what you're drinking over there. They were saying I was drinking some water and things like that. So I went with a man's drink today.
Oh, is that what it is? A man's
and I have
drink?
It in this plastic
bourbon?
cup. Yeah.
Dry bourbon, gin, maybe some whiskey. Is that what you went with?
Well, some a little heavier than that even. It's a mimosa.
Oh.
It's orange juice and champagne just combined. So, I mean, here's to you guys, bottomless mimosas today on the show, and hopefully I don't get some flack from that, but I probably will, and that's okay because I enjoy what I drink. But yeah, I had these mimosas a while ago. I went to McDonald's this morning and grabbed an orange juice, and I said, I gotta mix it with something. I was talking to my sister last night, and she was having champagne and apple cider. At my nephew's house, which is her son, and they cooked Mama some Thanksgiving dinner last night, so it was awesome. But yeah, so she was drinking that, and I was like, man, I didn't have nothing at the house, and everybody that was around aren't big drinkers, so I was like, I'll just save my drinking for Friday. So I went in and I went out and got some champagne and some orange juice from Mickey D's, slammed my number 6 meal, which is no, it's all good, Bill. I'm just joking too, man. The number 6 meal, which is the McGriddle. I always get the sausage McGriddle, add bacon, so it's like double the meat on there, and I got an orange juice from them, a large one. So I'm gonna have some fun today. But no, Bill, I get it, man. It's all good, man. Everybody says, even my guys come over and we have a beer together, and I bring out the Coors Light. They're like, yeah, if that's all you got, I'll take one.
That's all you got. Just beggars can't be choosers, dude. They can't be. No doubt about it. Absolutely. So
for the show on Thursday, I'll be drinking some of this. Okay.
See, I told you I've never had that. Hey, so how does that compare to Coors Light? They're both Mexican beers, right?
Yeah, I just think,
both to me taste like urine. Not that I've tasted urine. But I'm saying if I did taste it, that's what I would think it would taste like. But I don't unless I'm trapped out on a desert somewhere, and that's the only thing I've got. But and that ain't never going to happen.
I can't say I haven't tasted urine because when my kiddo was little, my 15-year-old was little.
I'll take that back.
And I'm changing a diaper. And he shoots it up and it gets you, you kind of and
well, you're getting a little heavy into that diaper change, bro. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm glad I'm not changing now my little one. So the little girl that I have, obviously my kiddo, he's 15 now. But the little girl, her Eliana, her favorite thing is just when I take the diaper for a change, she flips over real quick and starts heading out. She starts running around the house with no clothes on, just running around. I try to get her, and she thinks it's so funny and all this other stuff. And it's just crazy raising a kid at the age of 22 when I was still just coming out of my being a kid. I still didn't have I don't even think I had a job at that time, man. I went out and did some labor work and kind of built myself from there. But now being established and having a nice home and nice place and nice things,
In that
compared
new
to where I was at that time.
in that new studio you got, in this new office you
Yeah.
got built finally out there. That's nice.
Yeah, I was able to show my parents. They were really happy. Yeah, I mean, there's just so
Are
many
they still
blessings that
down
I've had
there?
on the way. No, they took off this morning,
Okay.
around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Dad and mom took off because they had round trip flights, and the earlier they could get in and leave, the better the price they would get. So they ended up getting here like 8:30 our time here, but then they left at 4:30 in the morning our time, this morthem.
Oh, okay.
So I had coffee made for them and everything, but
I bet that was a
just
good time. See family. You haven't seen, like I said, you hadn't seen them. You hadn't seen them in years, right?
No, I haven't seen him in years, man. It's been a long time. I mean, I did go see him. I didn't go see them. I went to see my sister and my
I
nephew,
remember that.
a couple months back when we found out my nephew had testicular cancer, and some other incidents were going on. We thought it had spread up, but it actually didn't. It was a different lung disease that he has that he's taking care of now, which
That's good.
he did have a recheck and everything's clear. Everything's good now. So he had one testicle removed that the cancer was in. Then they thought it went up to his lungs and then possibly to his brain. So that was huge, right? So Jalissa, my wife, got me on a flight out there, and I went to hang out with them. Well, during that time, I didn't let my parents know because, again, just like any other parents, when they haven't seen you for a long time, they want to hang out with you. They want to chill and go have dinner and stuff like that. And
Sure.
I didn't want to suck up a lot of my time out there with them. Not saying I don't want to spend it with them, but I was there for different reasons. So
makes sense.
It was a quick, hey, how you doing, hugs, and then this time they got to come down for 4 days, and we were able to really have a good time. So, but yeah, man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have a kid at when you're 22 and have one when you're 35. It's a big difference. I think that's what I was, the 35. Anywho, and my kiddo, what's nice too is my son's 15 now, so he's able to hang out with her, and they have a decent bond relationship together. Joe
cool.
says cheers. Cheers, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Big supporter too, donated to the GoFundMe for my nephew, who was having some hardship, taking a lot of time off of work, selling insurance and stuff. So all his PTO was taken up, going to meetings and schedules and appointments, and being pretty much a pincushion for all the needles that he was getting jabbed in him.
Right.
So,
well, hopefully he's turned the corner on that and can get it get it under control. That's the key. Keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Big prayers to him and anybody else out there that's going through that same situation, man. Life happens, like we've talked about, man. Life happens, and we're here to support you guys, whether it's electrical or even outside of electrical. So we are that. What's this Black Friday sale, man? Are we going into Black Friday? Is that what you have there? Is that what you bought?
My wife was up.
What you got going on there?
My wife went to bed last night at like 1:30 after everything, and ended up, when I woke up this morning, of course, I casually rolled out of the bed around 9:30, and she was gone. I looked, and the ring, you can see when people go, she had left at like 5 a.m. or something to hit the stores or whatever it was. And I'm like, dude, I have never done the Black Friday thing. Go shopping. Practically, I do all my shopping online. So I'm probably one of those guys that's like, oh, the retail stores are the ones that suffer, because I don't shop in stores. So my favorite store is probably Costco. And that's because it's less than 1/3 of a mile or less from my house. So I'm boom there and back. And I get a lot of stuff from Costco, but I do most of my shopping online. I'm an Amazon, although I don't like what they stand for. The ease of getting it far outweighs it. So I'm like, I just use it anyway. So I just switch into that hypocrite mode and I do it. But yeah, over on Electrician Pride, all of our swag, all the Electrify stuff, these hats, this shirt, you can't see it. There you go. All that stuff over there. And of course, a bunch of other stuff, Bluetooth speakers, and everything's 15% off. And that's about what our margins are anyway. So you pretty much get it at what we cost. So check it out. Okay. So Bill says that he played some jokes on Style Cup Senior, and he didn't know he played music. Now, I really didn't know either. But a lot of us have lives outside of code, and we do other things.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that I played, that I was a pro golfer, and had my professional license. Most people don't know that I won my very first professional tournament. It was at Waverly Woods Country Club, Elliott City, Maryland, on September 4th through the 6th in 2004. I won that with 4 under par. Wasn't great, but it was 2 days of the tournament, and I was 2 under each day. Realized that I couldn't feed my family on that, so quickly shifted from pro golf. There's a lot of things that we've done in the past that people are like, I had no idea people did this or that type of thing.
Yeah. They always see us with our Carhartts on or tool bags on, and
they know me. They know me as electrical, and I've been electrical since 30. Yeah. I was looking back, Jay. I've been working in electrical since 1986 when I started kind of helping, and then ended up going into vocational program and everything like that. And my brother got me actually, into it. I watched one Christmas morning. It's kind of funny. You think about it. You ever think back to those Christmas mornings when you were all family? And I know today we don't do it as much. But back then, when you're really up all night and you're waiting to come down the stairs and get the Christmas stuff, right? And you come down and they're opening presents. And my brother had gotten a set of tools, and he was in the vocational school that I ultimately went to, and he was so excited. And I was like, dude, if you get that excited over tools and doing electrical, I have to do this. And so I met the teacher, and when I met the teacher, I just fell in love with it. And, that was huge.
I thought you were going to say you fell in love with him. I was going to say, whoa.
In a way, I did. He was like a second dad to me, and really mentored me. You better slow down on those. If you're thinking that way, you better slow down on those mimosas, bro. I'm just saying.
Big old thing, man. Got this big old bottle of champagne. Can't even lift it up anymore.
Good thing about drinking at home is it's just not a long way to roll to the bed, dude. When don't do it out where you got to drive, right?
There's a bed right there that I could roll into. Zombie's big old bed that he takes up. I've actually had a night where I slept in one of those things, and it wasn't too bad. We won't talk about that night anymore, but
it's a bad night.
Carlos, what's up, brother? He says, "Hey guys, great shows, man. Thanks, Carlos. We appreciate you." I think he's down in Arizona. So hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving, Carlos. We do appreciate you joining us. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Carlos comes in on the Wednesday night exam preps as well. I think he's a fast track student, or maybe one time.
We didn't have those this week. We didn't have those. Look, Elwood's in the house. I knew you were out there somewhere.
Hey, what's up, Elwood?
I knew you were out there somewhere. We didn't have Wednesday nights this week, but we did have Tuesday night, which was the grounding and bonding. It's the second part of that, and so the third part of that is, I'm not even sure. It's the second week of December. So for those that want to attend that, of course, once it's all done, you'll get access to it if you're a monthly subscriber. But we'll get into the third part in another week or two. So I guess not next week, but the week after. Good, which is good. So
Elwood says, "Thanks guys for all your work." Yeah, man, we appreciate you guys supporting, and I know Paul's been doing podcasts. I know you were talking about you've been in the actual industry for 35 years, which kind of ages our gap, because in 86, I was 2. I was 2 years old in 86. So I was born, in 84. But you didn't start in 86 doing podcasts. When did you start actually doing podcasts?
Yeah, funny thing about that is, before podcasts were a thing, I don't even know where the word podcast came from. Somebody coined that. I wish I had have trademarked it. Back in 2004, I started, people might remember something called the Electrical Guru. I took a lot of flack for that name, but people don't understand marketing, which tells me most people on some of those forums that gave me grief don't own their own business, so they don't understand marketing. Anyway, I started, what I did first was you didn't have podcasts. You didn't have a way to share things. So what I did was I remember back when I was working with HTML and I created websites, and they were really basic websites, which, by the way, actually do better on search engines than fancy websites. But and I started uploading the files that I would do. I did an entire series on the NEC, and I uploaded them to a folder. And in that folder, I kept it, and I was able to share it on message boards and forum, and people would go listen. So this was all the way back in 2004 when I really got into it. And then a company came along called 1000 Mics. That's mics like microphones, mics. And they started offering a platform where you could share your audio files. They didn't even call it podcast. You could share it. There was no video. This is before YouTube. This was before all that. And it shared these, you could share these files and people could listen to them. Kind of like what Spreaker does today. And that's who I use as my host, or Anchor is the same way for podcast. But this was way back then. There was no way to promote it, no way to stream it out into these streaming software, these things like Spotify's and all that, because they didn't exist. So you only could market what you promoted. I mean, if you didn't promote it, nobody would ever know about it, right? So I was uploading them then.
Right.
And yeah, Joe, see, that's a funny thing. There are some people that have been there since way back then. And Joe was one of those that were all the way. I mean, that's aging us there, but that is all the way back then that I was sharing this stuff. And, it wasn't until the technology changed and got your podcasts, and now you can distribute it all over the place. And we're like today, could you ever imagine, whether you like our stream or not, whether you're enjoying or you like the direction Electrify is going or not, the sheer beautiful thing about the ability to share stuff out to the masses. And you always can ask questions in here as well. So always ask any question you want in the chat. But that dates all the way back. And I remember never thinking I'd be the old guy anymore. And it just, boom, you snap your fingers and you're old. I'm not that old, 52. But I mean, you think about it, at the end of the day, it's, was uploading that stuff way back in 2004. So if you think about that, that is quite a few years ago.
Is that when you had the AOL dial-up still? And you would see it. It would.
Yeah,
I remember when AOL had that dial-up stuff. And
yeah, probably was even back then. Because
I remember that stuff, man.
Yeah, because it didn't have to go live and you weren't streaming, so you didn't have to have all this bandwidth that you have to have today, right? So I remember streaming it and being able to bring all that to the stream, and it was it was probably that bad. Yeah, probably was that bad. Joe might be able to tell you. Joe might be able to tell you because he remembers it probably way back when I was doing that type of thing.
Yeah, he said I was born the year he graduated high school, so he graduated in '84. Which is awesome, man. That's cool. It's cool that we have that bond between each other, right? That's
the year he graduated.
Super awesome.
Is the year you were born. That's a bond.
I was born. Woohoo!
Joe,
it's crazy. Bill says he started his podcast 420, which go ahead, figure 420 here in Colorado. Bill, we know what drove that date, but I was born on 419, so I was born a day before 420, so I was always a day early. 4/19, 1984. So that way, if you guys ever want to get me something, my birthday is coming up, just so you know. Braxton says,
you know what? We do sell gift cards over on Electrician Pride. So if y'all want to go get a gift card and send it to Jay, we have a feature now that allows you to get a gift and send it to somebody else. So if you're interested in giving the gift of education or the gift of some swag like this nifty hat, which is awesome, by the way, then you can do so. They are different. So the gift cards that you get on Electrical Code Academy are not for use on Electrician Pride. Electrician Pride's gift cards are only used for Electrician Pride. So if you want to give the gift of swag, go to electricianpride.com, especially right now while there's a 15% off Black Friday sale. But if you want to give the gift of education, you can do it over on Electrical Code Academy in website, and you can do that as well. So we started adding those. So it's funny you should say that. We added gift cards, and you can designate somebody else.
We can go on. Anybody can go on there, and let's say they have a relative or somebody who's in the electrical industry. They can actually send them a gift card from there that will go to their house, or even some swag, huh? Wow.
No, it sends you the code to be able for them to shop on Electrician Pride.
Oh, they can shop on there. Even better. What better way to just have them go on there and pick something out for themselves?
You get your own unique code that somebody's already bought it. Like if I wanted to give you a gift card for $50 or whatever it is, I go in, fill it out, put in your address, email address. It sends it to you. That's a gift to you. You can use that discount on whatever you shop. So this is a new feature. We're always adding new features to the site, that type of thing. Hey, Joe remembers, this is so true. Joe remembers when I used to stream using my cell phone to stream on some nights. It was so bad that, even back then, the cell phone was better than whatever the upload stream was. God, so things have truly changed in all those years. I'm amazed that I still had the desire to do it. If the stream was that bad or stuff was that bad, that I still stuck with it all these years. So that's funny.
Yeah, that tells you how much Joe's been his dedication to you and
he's a great guy.
He's definitely committed. He's one of the lifers, man. The day one guys, we call it. Are you a day one guy?
Well, he's in general, Joe's just a code guy in general. So he's back on the East Coast. And I've never been to his chapter. I didn't do much. He's in the IAI. I didn't do much on the Northeast. Even though I lived in Virginia, I never did get my way. I used to travel all through when I was with NEMA. I used to travel all through the South and all through over to Texas and everything. I never went up north. They have a guy that does up north for NEMA named Jack Lyons. Great guy. Wonderful guy. And he does more up there in the north when we were at NEMA. Prior to that, my seminars that I used to teach around the country never went north. It always was Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. It just always moved. I guess my wife would say I always did something where it was warmer because she can't stand cold weather. So, but that type of thing. But yeah, Joe's been around a while, and he's a CMECP. So again, that was a treat because he brings a heck of a lot of class to the CMECP program, that type of thing. So that type of scenario. So Bill asked the question. Supporter. Bill says, are we going to be doing on this new Electrify? We're going to have call-in topics. That's why the number's on the screen. We're not really doing it today unless somebody wants to call in. I never really set that up today. But we're going to definitely be doing call-ins. We're going to hopefully have special guests. The good news is it doesn't always have to focus on electrical. It's from an electrician's perspective, right? So we're going to have topics on all kinds of things. And that's why it's so important for folks out there to subscribe. Now, we're streaming on so many platforms now. There's like 6 or 7 platforms that we're streaming on.
Yep.
But if you want to get notifications of episodes, then all you got to do is subscribe to any one of them. But one thing I did notice today, and maybe you guys noticed it, Jay, I did not know. With us investing in the Restream, I realized that when we do a live session, it actually sends out a notice on all of the networks that we're connected to. And when it gets down to like 4 minutes or 5 minutes from the show, it actually brings up a ticker. And that is, I did not know that's, that alone just makes my job so much easier, because if you haven't seen what I've got going on here with the stream decks and everything, and again, by no means am I saying it's difficult. It's not. It's just making sure that I hit the right buttons to make sure, because I can like click a button and turn off, Jay's audio and that type of thing, which sometimes might be important. But most of the time, it's to be able to just interact between the different sessions.
I have a feeling you're going to be using that button if I drink about 3 or 4 more of these, but I'm not there yet. I'm not slurring yet.
You're not slurring the speech yet?
But who knows? We may get there.
But
But yeah, we would love call-ins on the shows, Bill. We're trying to, again, us, we're electricians. Paul, he's a code guy. I'm a contractor guy. We can talk about code until we're red in the face, and we love it and we don't mind it. But also, we have the courses, at Electrical Code Academy that you get that if you're part of the Fast Tracks program or even a monthly subscriber, you get to come to Wednesday nights and we do the, Paul does, he leads the show and I chime in every now and again, and other people do too. So we do a lot of code, man. We're not burnt out on it, but we just want to open up other topics in other areas and still make it fun and just have you guys be more interactive with us, which you guys are. Everybody out there is pretty good with their questions, but sometimes we'll have a topic that we're not able to answer that question, and we want to be able to, right? We want to be able to have an open discussion about anything and everything.
And your opinions matter. So we could be having have a discussion about something like I am sure we're going to have a discussion about current affairs, policies, and different things like that. And everybody knows I'm a raging Republican. But if you disagree, doesn't mean we can't get along, right? Oh, Bill.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Run out and get some of those Black Friday specials, man. Buy some tools. Go get you some Ryobi. Much better than the Milwaukees and the DeWalts. I'm just saying. But again, we want to have the discussion. We want to have the debates. We want to have anything on gun control. What you think about it? Politics. Electricians have a voice, and we want to be that voice. We want to be able to have you be able to chime in, keeping it clean, keeping it very civil, because if not, we'll just boot your butt. But your opinion does matter, and you don't have to agree with us. But again, that was the concept, is if you want to come and just talk code, and we have a lot of people that come for that, you can ask your code question. Go ahead and ask it anytime. Yeah. We'll answer it. But that's not the focus moving forward with Electrify. We want to have different topics. Breaking news. What's the breaking news?
I got some breaking news right now, bro.
Uh-oh, hold on. I got music. Hold on. Do I got breaking news music? Here's your breaking news music for Jay. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong one. What's your breaking news?
We got to get that fixed, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, give me something good. I mean, come on. No, breaking news. Now that's the breaking news from the Basement King.
From the Basement King. What's your breaking news,
bro? I've been on Instagram for a while. If you guys don't follow me, go check it out. The Basement King 12.
Check 1212. Check
1212. Basement King 12. However you want to say it, put it, whatever. Just go follow me on that platform, man. I'll type it in the chat line as well. But you know how you get on there and you're always seeing these giveaways, right? Whether it's Rigid, DeWalt, Milwaukee, Wera, Weha, Knipix, all kinds of giveaways. And it doesn't even have to just be tools and stuff. Hat manufacturers. I mean, who knows? You'll probably see us doing some stuff later on there as well. But anywho, I went ahead and I just got notification that I was a winning contestant for the Racketeers giveaway.
Ooh.
Episode 3 giveaway. So
what are they giving away? $1 million? Bring it. No million?
Okay. Right. Tell you what, if that was the case, I'd go out and go spend it on some cheap tools like Bill's doing right now. I'd go out there and spend it all. No, man. As a winner, they want me to send over my information. Obviously, I'm going to do that. It was for these little. They were a giveaway. Win a shim my box kit. So pretty much they're little shims. It's another way to space off your receptacles or your devices from the wall without having to use like a wire nut or a ground
Oh,
crimp. A lot of people do that. They space them off that way. You know, a lot of times I use a spark ring because again, if your box is further back than what is it, Paul, like an eighth of an inch, I believe it is, from the face of the surface. For non-combustible materials, you have to, have a spark ring of some sort. So
oh,
again,
extension. Yeah.
it's kind of a replacement for a caterpillar, these shim boxes. So, but you know what I do, guys, and you guys all know this too, is I'll get that giveaway box and we'll end up giving away on the show to one of you guys out there who wants it. So we'll try to use it if we can out in the field. But really, I get these giveaways to give back to you guys, and it's kind of what we do. So,
That's
but
awesome.
needless to say, I finally won. I feel like I'm a winner today. I don't know. Maybe I'll
Winner.
go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, go buy a lottery ticket. Yeah, why not? Right? I mean,
Why not?
You never know if as long as the luck string is going, right? So
I'm gonna see if they'll send me some of those shim boxes and maybe some other cool stuff that they got. Man, I'll tell them what we're doing over here at ELECTRIFY and let them know that we'll be giving their stuff away in some type of contest. Are you getting to that code reference?
For what?
Is that what you're looking at? Did you open up your code book?
Yeah. What do you want me to look for?
Gotcha. Well, I didn't know if you're doing that code references of a device or where we would need to use these shim boxes or not. I thought
You
maybe
mean the
you're looking
extension
something up.
rings?
Yeah.
Oh no. Hold on.
Well, no, I just didn't know if you were looking something. Don't worry about it. No, it's all good. I just thought you were going there.
You're talking about the depth. So quarter of an inch back in the box, the perimeter not more than one eighth of an inch around the perimeter.
Oh, that's what, quarter of an inch back. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
is that
right.
what you're
Quarter of an
talking
inch
about?
back. So then you would use like normally we would just use a spark ring, right? I mean,
gaps is an eighth of an inch around. So sheetrockers love you.
Yeah.
But the depth, if it's combustible, then it's flush. If it's non-combustible, we'll let you go back a quarter of an inch. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. So if it's an eighth of an inch back, you're good, right? Or 3/8 of an inch or whatever it is, not more than a quarter inch.
Not more than a quarter
so
inch.
that's where you would use these shimmies. That's where you use caterpillars and stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is this is the shimmies right here. So they're like a little kind of white tube.
You put that in the screw.
On the back of the screw, yeah, and it sticks off your device it sticks out a little bit. So
I've seen them make those. I've seen the little squares with the holes in them, and you just put how many ever you need over the screw, and it brings it back out. But that doesn't.
We call those the caterpillars.
Yeah, that doesn't change the depth of the box, though. Still can't have the box.
No.
You'd have to have extension rings or something to extend it out, so you don't have that exposure around it.
Right. There's only certain occasions you would use this, but other guys, what they'll do is they'll flap back those rabbit ears, I call them, on the device themselves that usually butt up against drywall. They catch it. They'll bend those in at like a 45 to hit the box to stick them off, or they'll cut open a wire nut or wire connector, or they'll use one of those ground crimps that I use that you hate, but I love them, that are hollow, for like making up, 4 14-2 grounds, or, a couple 12s and a 14. You guys know what I'm talking about. They're little copper crimps.
Yeah.
You've used those on your 632s to stick it off. Well, these guys have an actual shim that I'm hoping it's UL listed. Like I say, when I get the box, we won't do a crazy review on it, but I'll see what it's about and see how it works and give my feedback on it. And who knows, maybe I'll throw it in that box that I'm going to send to you for giveaways. So
absolutely, Chris, thanks for joining us. Great Turkey Day. Hope you had as well. Think over on Jay's Instagram account, Basement King. Is it the Basement King or just Basement King?
Oh, let me put in the
so
Basement
over there, he
King,
posted a video. He posted some pictures of his turkey, and I think even I posted on Facebook a picture of our turkey. So it was a good day. good day with family. I wasn't with my full family. They're back in Virginia, but they did. We did connect via Duo, and so I got to kind of virtually be there at the table. That type of thing. So yeah.
Let me see. That's also my TikTok account as well.
TikTok.
I'm getting a call. Let me see if this is that place, because I probably have to pay him. So give me 1 second. The topper.
Yep. So go ahead. So again, what I was looking for when he said something about it was looking in different aspects of the code. Anytime that we're doing a show in the future and you have a question or something with the code, Electrify, we're still going to be answering code questions. So if you have something, as long as it's not too deep that we can't discuss, and be able to clarify it for you. But again, I do want to mention that you can always go over to, and I will put it on the screen here, where you can go and ask your questions and submit them, and I will answer them. Make sure you go check out our Ask Paul podcast, because I just covered a topic on MC cable through metal studs. It was based on something that was sent to me, and I selected it for a podcast. But there's a ton I think we're up to like 28 or 29 episodes now of the Ask Paul. And again, it's just a portal that I created for you to ask questions. If you want to ask electrical code questions, maybe you want the secret of life. I don't know if I can answer that one, but I will obviously give you something. Yeah, definitely you can always go over and do that. And that's a free service that doesn't cost anything to be able to do that. And again, opinions are what they are. And I always give my opinion. I will tell you, I have an upcoming video that's going to come out. Now it's going to be a video, and it's going to be how to research the NEC in order to learn where we're at with certain things. And I'm going to use that one as an example of how we learn the history of whether or not nail plates are required for MC cable through metal studs. But I won't spoil it. Go watch and listen. Also, from that paulabernathy.com, you can also listen to all of the Ask Paul sessions by themselves right from there. Or, of course, you can always listen to all of our stuff on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. Just search for Let's Ask Paul or Ask Paul Podcast, or search for Electrify Podcast or Master the NEC Podcast. They're all available on all those platforms. And like I said, it's not a secret that I like to listen to some of the podcasts on my Alexa device while I'm in the shower. Too much info. But I like to connect my phone, and I listen through Spotify, and I share that on my device. And that's what I listen to when I want to hear a podcast. And it still amazes me that while we don't do videos, don't get hundreds of thousands of subscribers, the podcasts, for some reason, seem to get literally, it's still 300,000 plus downloads a month from all of those different accounts using all of those different streaming and sharing platforms. So it's still amazes me the number of people that listen to the podcast versus video. And that's why we make a concerted effort to try to talk about things in a way that makes it ability to listen, other than like the code turds and spinning the wheel. That makes it tough. But it's the thought of being able to share all the information in a way that you can listen to it on a podcast on a job site. So we encourage you to send in your topics for future podcasts on any topic you want. But that's why it's good to send your questions through the Let's Ask Paul thing over on paulabernathy.com, because that's how I can create podcasts and answer questions. Yeah. And that's a way to get answers. Like, for example, we just recently got a question. It was on our YouTube channel about bonded and what I call unbonded or floating generators, and how they comply with the requirements of optional standby and all that. It's a great podcast, but you can only find it over on Let's Ask Paul. So go over there and listen to it. It's a great podcast. If you wanted to know about that, that's over there. Well, wait a minute. That one's not over there because it's on on YouTube as a reply. But had he sent that question in on the paulabernathy.com or the Ask Paul platform, then I would have answered it in a podcast and everybody would be able to get it shared. But the MC one is over there. So go check the MC one out there. That'd be pretty cool. So it still amazes me that we can stream on as many platforms, and thank you to Restream. They don't sponsor anything, but and I pay for it. And I should say you all pay for it. So we do appreciate it in order to be able to offer that, so you can listen on any platform that's convenient for you, that type of thing. So absolutely. So what do you got coming up, Jay? Any big things coming up for the Basement King? We've talked about some things that we want to do in the future, but I think on Electrify is one way to get started on doing some shows that are business related. What's in, accounting and what you do for marketing and all types of things like that. That's going to be some great topics for some upcoming shows, because I think out there people want to know those things. They need to know those things.
Yeah, we've touched on it. We've touched on that topic just a few times, because you and I both use Vista Print and things like that. Again, as we grow, as you guys know, or probably know, or maybe you don't, but if you don't, you will now. I've been in business for 7 years now with Wired Up Electrical Design LLC. I'm the owner. My wife runs the HR department. She does anywhere from estimating to bidding to material counts to billing, payments. I mean, she does so much, which frees me up to be able to expand and grow, take more phone calls, figure out stuff out in the field, right? Because there's two sides of it, and these are the topics that we're gonna get into, man. I mean, I'm living it. Paul's done it. He has that perspective from a guy who's already done it and lived it, and he has the, hey, if I could go back, maybe I would have done this, maybe I would have done that. Whereas I'm 2 feet in, man. I'm just going off the string of my pants and just doing it the best way I know how to. And sometimes I learn from those ways, and I can't wait to share those with you guys. But it's not it's not always peaches and cream like people think, but it's not always a bad thing either. I'd like to get into episodes where we're talking about what it is, what it's like to start your own business, or okay, let's say you go a certain direction. What does it take to hire somebody? What type of insurance now do you have to have? What type of future are you providing for that individual that you're hiring as well, right? Because it's not just about you. You may be thinking as a owner, I have a certain schedule I have to meet, and I need help, maybe short time or maybe full time. So where do you go to get that help? Do you hire to fire? Like stuff like that, Paul, that you and I have kind of talked about,
In over my years of owning businesses, and I've owned 3 separate corporations, through the years, it's a lot of mistakes. And if you could save somebody else, somebody else from making a mistake, of course, everybody says, you got to live, you got to do it. You're going to make mistakes. But if you can keep somebody else from making a mistake, that's great. You don't have to make the same mistake, although your situation, some people's situation may be totally different. But, I have made some serious mistakes through the year, financially, with business, and learned from them. So why not share that with other people so they don't make the same type of mistakes? And we'll always talk code and talk electrical and talk applications and things like that along the way. But, should be some great things to share coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the new reamped direction we're going. Again, it allows us to really take in what you guys are wanting to know and the questions you guys have, but also get more personal in depth with how we roll. I am not drinking any of that today.
I have shifted from the beer. Sorry.
Did you even finish that whole thing? I only seen you take like one sip of it. So,
dude, it's empty.
Oh yeah. There you go. Attaboy.
One beer.
So
that's a bag of one beer.
If you guys aren't watching the live stream or this gets reposted on the broadcast, Paul literally just emptied his beer in his trash can right next to him. Right, it was about half full, and I could see him. I could see him emptying it, or he's putting in his dog's water bowl to get them a little wasted on this Friday.
My dog doesn't come in my studio.
And then he takes the beer and he tips it upside down with 3 little drops and goes, like he finished the whole thing himself.
Finished it. Knocked out that beast of a beer. Oh.
And this is a Michelob Light, just so you guys know. You guys give me flack about my Coors Light. This guy over here is drinking Michelob Light. Okay,
it's no.
Oh,
it is.
Oh, here we go. Ultra. Michelob Ultra. Oh, sorry.
It's lighter.
The Ultra.
It's superior light.
It's lighter than the light. It's lighter than the light.
It's almost floats on its own. That it's so light.
Purified water.
It is like water, but you know what the old saying is: the lighter it is, the easier it passes through the kidneys. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
I heard
you saying that on the episode.
Yeah, I didn't make that up
the other day when people were giving me some flack, and I found out who Christy is on the YouTube side, and that's actually O. So I don't know if he's out there, but that's his. I don't know if he gets under that other account. I'm gonna verify that that's him. Maybe it's his wife. But I did research that because I wanted to see who was asking questions and that. So
you want to research it.
Yeah, so I went under and I searched it on Facebook and it was O. And to be honest with you, man, Elwood's the same. Joe, these are the guys that have been day ones with you. I was just blessed enough to come into a already built system. And just to try to help out, right? You already created a certain system, and you were looking for a volunteer to help you out on co-hosting these things. And
it's not. It wasn't just that easy. I mean, I sent that out, and I had I can't remember the number, but I think I had like 10 to 15 people that were interested in co-hosting when I sent that out. So
sure,
when you had gone through the Fast Tracks program, and so. And I got to see, your passion. Chris says that's not real beer. Hey, it says beer on it.
Yeah, there you go.
It says beer
give him some flack, man.
But it's only 2.4 carbs, man. So I feel like I'm healthy. 96 calories. That's all, man. I'm lightweight. But what was I talking about? Oh, so yeah. So we went through that. And you were by far the best choice for the show. So again, you've grown leaps and bounds. So if everybody wants to go back, you probably wouldn't like this. Go back on our YouTube channel, and you can go back and look and see Jay's first airing, or when he first came on, or second or third, and he was
yeah.
I was like,
give it to me. Go back and watch that. I want to see what you guys think, and let me know on next week's Thursday, first Electrify live edition on Thursday,
which is kind of today. We are live
now.
That's the Thursday edition, actual live.
The Thursday edition that's you just scheduled program at 7 Mountain Standard Time. Sorry, wow, man, I need to drink some more. Tell you
better cut back those mimosas, bro. It's sounding like you're slurring.
I feel like I'm on a beach out in Cabo, and just letting loose, getting a suntan. I'll tell you what, though, speaking of suntans and nice weather, the whole time my parents were here, man, we were in the 60s. It was beautiful. I love Colorado, man. We did have snow. I sent you a picture.
Yeah, I did see you had some snow.
I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. Did you see that? You could see the little bit of snow on the ground that I said. That was just a little bit, but still, it snowed,
Chris said you were a dork.
Yeah, Chris, you still are a dork.
No, he said, so he said you were a dork.
Yeah, I know what he said, and he heard what I said back. Hey, no, this ain't no surprise. This is the guy that came over with a smoked turkey last night. And actually, it was really good. I was gonna try to clown on it, but it was actually a really good turkey that he brought. So we had 2 different types of turkeys yesterday. And if you guys don't know Chris Lightsey, he's my best bud, man. Met him at my Denver First Church, and he's an iron worker now with the IBEW or Union. I don't think IBEW is electrical, right? So that's electrical. Sorry, so he's not there yet. He's not in that class. Obviously, that's a higher class, but he's an iron worker.
I don't know.
They don't know how to do a little bit of math.
Yeah.
1 + 1, 2 + 2. But no, what I was saying, I wasn't trying to play the application that you'd put out and made it simple for me to get the job or the co-host with you.
I was gonna say
what
job
I was
means
saying
you'd be
was when I
getting
was
job means you'd be getting paid.
yeah, job means I'm getting paid, and I'm not. But I came into a program that you already had. You already had a system in play, and so I really do appreciate you bringing me in.
Sure.
And we've grown leaps and bounds, but with O and Elwood and Rombo, Tim, Joe, and I'm missing people. I'm sorry if I miss you guys, but there's a lot of guys out there that they had to kind of adapt to having a co-host, because Mike Schwartz, because you were already there, right? You were already kind of putting the pavement down, so to speak. So
I mean, most of my stuff has always been centered around code, right? So it's more codesy, and so the concept of Electrician Live was to open it up a little bit and give two different perspectives and things like that. And I think we've succeeded in that. Yeah, I mean, I think we do that. I think Electrify is going to take it way beyond that, because I think we have some interesting shows. And people can call in. So somebody asked earlier, are we going to have where you can call in? Absolutely. What did it?
I'm trying to get more stuff out of Racketeer, right? I'm trying to. I told him. I said, we do a show with Code Expert, panel serving 517, Paul Abernathy.
Yeah, I mean a thing to them.
And that always gets them.
No, it doesn't.
That always gets them. They're like, oh, you work with the Abernathy, the one and only? I said, yeah, I do. I said, let me send you the whole warehouse. I'm like, hold on. I can't send you the whole warehouse, but just hook us up with some stuff so we can give away on our show, man. Because again, we like to do giveaways. I still have that big old box down here of giveaway stuff. I'm just trying to fill it up to make it worth it.
Yep, and we've got our stuff from the shows going out next week. Darlene's boxing it. We have it, and we're going to go out. But yeah, so I mean, it'll be pretty good. I do know we want to have we're going to have a show on, what's this thing you always see, gas prices and changes in gas, and we'll have a show, something, we'll talk about that. It's kind of interesting. Who do you blame that on? So again, everybody knows I'm a raging Republican, so don't get offended. You're free to drink half that bottle. But you can also have an opinion, and that's fine. That's the thing about people, is we can have opinions as long as it doesn't go nasty. And we can't.
Yeah, if you want to roast my ass, if you want to roast me on live, I could. I like the beer thing or whatever else. My first episodes, when I first saw Paul, I was, who is this guy? Knows a lot. Well, he is in the code making panel. Blessed to have you doing your thing. Yeah. Elwood's always. Elwood was around before I was. I guess my whole point was I was around. You guys, a lot of you guys were around before I came into the situation. I just hopefully I'm giving you guys some feedback as well, some positive feedback,
and kind of
relate to you guys out in the field.
You know that he
and
might
things
be,
like that.
He might be drunk anyway, so we don't know exactly where he's going with what he's. But could be tipsy.
It takes me about four and a half.
Moses.
I don't know.
4. Can't count.
But
hey, trust me, Elwood. Trust me, there's a lot of people that still go, who is this Paul anyway? So that's fine. I tell people all the time. Most people that know is of Electrical Code Academy. So
yeah,
people that listen to the podcast are like, who is this? What is this? And that type of thing. Why am I here? But again, podcasts are more and the videos are more to give you what you want and that type of thing. So hopefully you do that. But again, we do appreciate everybody. And code panels are here nor there either. They're voluntary. I never know whether I want to continue to serve on those after a number of years. You'll notice that a lot of educators don't serve on code panels. So I've just been blessed enough to be there, but it wouldn't have been if it wasn't for Encore Wire, I wouldn't be on these code panels, because they just don't let individuals get on a code panel. That's why you don't see people like Mike Holt or the Staucups or things like that. That's why you don't see them on code panels. because you have to have representation to be on a code panel. Now, I represent Aluminum Association and Copper Development because I work at a company that manufactures copper and aluminum products, wire, cable. But you can't just be on it to be on it. So I'm blessed in that way. So when you think about it, it's less about the intrinsic knowledge and more about your connections and how you get to be on a panel. Is you have to be representing an association or something like that kind of thing. So, and there are IBEW reps on there. There is NECA reps on there. There are people, there's IAEI has seats on there, and they go through a nominating process to get it. And we do the same thing for aluminum copper, but we get so many seats. And so we have a guy that works for me. His name is Kevin Porter. And Kevin serves on some seats as well. And so for aluminum and copper. So, we play really nice. We love copper. We love aluminum. But it depends on which meeting we're in, which hat we're wearing, that type of thing. But yeah, so that's how you get on those code panels. But it is neat to be on and maybe a part of it. But really the work's done by folks like yourself that submit those code updates and code changes and proposals and comments. And all we do is massage it, really. We might add some technical flavor to it or say, well, this person, that's not technically right. But we like parts of it. And so things have changed in how we do the process. NFPA does a great job, by the way, of kind of gearing us in the process. And this time, since it was virtual again, I miss meeting live. I miss that. But they've done a good job at making it virtual in being able to do it. And I'm sure that saved them a ton of cash because it's expensive to do those live shows or those live meetings. It is expensive. But
you got to fly people out. You
they
got
don't
to pay
pay
for the
that.
room and board.
The NFPA doesn't pay that, so that's the other thing that people don't know. So, my company, Encore, they pay the bill. They pay my flight, my trip, my hotels, my food, everything, and they have to agree to it. When NFPA and you go to be on the committee and you get accepted, they have to sign an agreement saying that the company you work for will pay your bills. So. The interesting thing about NFP, as much as I love them, they're selling the books, making money, which is good. They helps further different things that they do. But they don't write the code. They don't really have any, I should say don't have any say because they got some really bright people up there like Jeff Sargent and things like that. Really bright that will chime in and say, well, y'all need to think about this, because he's just an amazing guy. And so we do have that, but for the most part, NFPA doesn't have any say in this code book. It's people like you and me that submit things, and then we at the table kind of sit and massage it, that type of thing. And we do add things for clarity, and some of us put our own, public inputs in, and everybody that sits in the room puts their own public inputs in. Everybody puts them in. That means that when we sit at the table, everything is available to be discussed. That type of thing. So, but it is neat to be in the front of the code book, I guess, but, as I got older, I'm like, it's, am I in it next time? Am I on the panels next time? I mean, I'd love to be, but, depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing. If I leave Encore, I will obviously not be in the code panels anymore. That type of thing, unless some other association.
If you're not with Encore?
Yeah. If you don't have representation, then you can't be in the code panel. Like, for example, if I'm part of IBEW and they have a certain number of seats on each panel, they have what's called a principal and an alternate. And there's, you have a certain number of code panels. Then what happens is you can have seats and you can have a certain number, but there's no guarantee. People have been there longer that want to be a part of the process. They're going to get the seats. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get it. So, and it'll be fine. Again, a lot of the educators choose not to be on it when they're writing their books and stuff, so they, don't have to, they can be kind of separate from it. But I enjoy it. I enjoy being on it. Really intelligent people that serve on the code. I see a lot of people in these chat forums out there will bash the code people, and I don't get it, Jay. Because I've had people out there, electricians. I guess they have an inferiority complex that they want to say, well, if you would be out there working, you wouldn't be on a code panel living this lifestyle. Dude, you don't have any idea. It was easier this last cycle to do it from home than it was to do it out there because we usually are meeting late into the night. Your company has to pay for it. People say, well, it's what you do. It's what you get paid for. No, it ain't. You're away from family for 2 weeks at a time because you're on 2 separate code panels. You're going to spend a week each just about. So 2 times a year when the code making process is going, you're away from your family. People say, well, I love to do that. I don't care to travel nearly like I used to travel. And I don't care for it. So they just, you have to research every change, right? You have to look at everything and research it and determine what's affecting here so that you know how to vote on it. So it's a lot of work, but there's some people that live for it. That's all they want. That's all they can wait for is code time. But us that are actively working with companies, it can get tough to try to coordinate all that stuff.
Can you hear my little one in the background? Yeah. She's just fussing it up right now. Yeah, if you want to look at a positive from the COVID era that's still in play, we were able to do a lot of stuff remotely. And again, a lot of brick and mortars aren't as popular right now because you're not able to fill them up in the cost of the rent on a brick and mortar, like a warehouse or, building that you're running, maybe selling insurance out of. Nothing that, some electrical, but not really, just there's other stuff besides electrical. You can do that stuff from your house, right? You can sell insurance from your house. So you got a laptop, you got a camera like this here or something like that, and you can talk to people. So I think it really opened up us as individuals, Americans and other countries as well. It showed that how far technology was already way past us and our thinking. Right. And then all of a sudden now we're able to do these remotely to where, like you said, you could be drinking a cup of coffee 30 minutes, hour before you wake up, and you're into a meeting right there in your office. Mm-hmm. And you're, you're still in your PJs, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just saying, like you're right there. You don't have to fly. You don't have to leave your house, your state.
When I was younger, though, it was cooler. Because, getting upgraded to first class because of all the miles you fly and going to all these meetings and it was awesome. I've been all over the country. Canada multiple times for committees. Never left the U.S., though, other than to Canada. Never met in Hawaii. That kind of sucks. We need to have a meeting in Hawaii. Then I will definitely go to that.
Cool, man.
I don't know if I want to fly over the water that long, but, anyway. But, it's, I miss the meetings part. But, again, with code panel guys and gals, it's only once, every 3 years we change the code. After we finish 2023, because we still have to go through the voting stage, we still have to do what's called the NITMAMS, Notice of Intent to Make a Motion on anything we disagree with. Once it's all ratified and it's all done and we accept everything, then we'll have about a year's relaxation where we don't do anything. And, it'll be time to start writing, updating the books. And I don't know that I'll be helping Phil Simmons this cycle around. He hasn't let me know. They're his books. He's the primary author. So if I help him, I help him. If not, then I will be doing my own thing during that period. That type of thing. But we'll have a year to relax and not worry about the code. And then we will, guess what? We will start in again on the 2026 edition of the NEC. So also, I will tell people I am going to have a video coming out. I want you to make sure you look for it, subscribe to all the channels, or mainly over YouTube, I guess. I am going to have a video coming out that explains how to research the NEC, how to do it on a free account with NFPA, and let you see how you too can look and find the answers to many questions that you have of why this is what it is. For example, like the one I did on MC cable and metal studs. I did that podcast and I literally explained how to do it and where you go And I want to show that in a video so people can understand how we actually research the code and use the ROPs, the ROCs in the old days, and then how we use what's called public inputs, public comments, and the tear view. So I'm going to do a video on that in case anybody wants to go back and do their own research. Because I get people that ask me all the time, what was this back then? Or this what was ruled back here, back then? No,
Right.
you can do it yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do your own, how to become your own NEC researcher in an upcoming video.
Very
So
cool.
that'll be cool to see. And we are going to do some lives, electrical blunders. So me and Jay are going to do that. So that's going to be something to make sure you subscribe. That's going to be
and we're
cool.
we're still going on with the residential series as well. As you guys know, we've kind of just been, again, holidays came way too fast, and they're here.
There is 12 episodes though. I think 11 or 12 episodes are available over in the monthly subscriber. So if you're a monthly subscriber to the program, to the website where you can subscribe monthly, it's $9.99 a month or less than $120 a year. You can get access to everything there, the podcast, special podcast, everything. But in there, you also get access to the residential up to the point so far. We're getting ready to go into chapter 2. So all the other videos are there. So again, take advantage of them. They're there. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to give someone a good gift for Christmas? Go give them a yearly subscription to that. Sub that out, baby. Go give them a
gift card works for that too.
A subscription. Go give them a gift card, something like that. Seriously, I mean, you want to, guys talk about being in code and all that. Well, give them the best resource you can find. You got over 400 videos and podcasts that you can find on that subscription for $9.99 a month.
Plus, it gives them access to Wednesday night sessions.
Yeah, how huge is that? You don't get to have sessions with a code expert
That's like a tutor. That's like a tutor every Wednesday night. Bring your questions, whatever they are. Bring them. Everybody wants to learn, so bring them.
Yeah.
So that gives you access to.
Elwood talks about his wife, and she works for the utility company, and how she has she's got a setup from home now. And again, that's what I'm talking about. Like it was a change, obviously, because we couldn't have so many people in a room or whatever the rules were at what given time, and they are now. You're masked up. Maybe you only have 50% of the workers working from home and 50% in the brick and mortar. But now, the thing I like about it was I'm able to work from home. My wife's able to work from home. And we're able to get up with our kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're working from home like Elwood's wife, she probably doesn't have to really log in until maybe 9 o'clock. Now, I don't know her hours, Elwood. I'm just using this as an example. But let's say she doesn't have to log in until 9 o'clock, right? Well, before, she'd probably have to get up at 7 o'clock, get the kids ready, get them off to school, whatever. If Elwood has kids, it's just example. Leave the house around 8 o'clock, get to her job around 8:30ish, clock in by 9 or whatever the situation is. Now she doesn't have to rush as much, right? You get the kids ready, you get them off, you get them breakfast, you pack their lunches. There you go, kiddos. And then you can kind of take a little bit of breather, and you don't even have to leave your home. So you're saving on gas, and gas prices right now are obviously outrageous in some areas. So you're saving on gas, you're saving, the company's saving, space in that building where they can maybe, not have to lease that part of the building or cut it down tremendously. And at home, you, the worker, you're able to be with your kids a little longer and be with your family, and then it's not like you have to drive somewhere. So you just step in your office at 8:50 if you start at 9,
Yeah, well, I worked for Encore. Was unheard of for Encore. Let me tell you a story of the work from. So COVID's opened up a lot of things. Companies that did not believe that you could remotely work, their eyes were open because sales, for example, most people know. So Encore Wire, I'll use them as an example. Encore Wire, I'm in Texas because I was from Virginia. And when I left NEMA and I was going to work for Encore Wire, I had to live in Texas. Whereas my counterparts for other companies don't, right? So, you take at the time for Southwire, you have, different, their director or their equivalent, Dave Messier, great guy, by the way, now works for UL. He works remote. Then you have Chris Hunter, which was with Zero, back then was General Cable. She works remote. You have all bunch of my counterparts for other people. They all work remote because they don't have to be in the office. Well, that's not the culture at Encore. Encore Wire, we have a campus, and everything's a campus, and it's 400 plus acres, over 2.5 million square feet under roof in one location. It's like the Disneyland for wire and cable. You could see it from its beginning to the end on one campus, not split up. But anyway, they wanted me there as their technical person, also as their codes and standards person, and all this kind of stuff. So you work directly. I had to be there. Whereas the other people, they don't really do that. They just did the code and standards thing at meetings and whatever. But I was involved in product. All of Encore's latest products, there's like 8 of them, are generally my invention. So, and it's not because I'm a overly smart guy. It's not. It's because I'm an electrician. And all I did was say, you know what? I'm going to be thinking outside the box. And these are things that electricians want. And so that gave them these new ideas, these new concepts. But reality was I had to live in Texas. So when we came to Texas, I left Virginia, moved the family here. Then COVID, well, that's in 2014. Now, everybody had to be here. So then COVID hit us in 2020, and they moved us out of the office, and we worked from home for 300 plus days or whatever it was. And the sales at Encore Wire skyrocketed to this record heights. It's doing wonderful. If you want to look at how Encore Wire is doing, go over to NASDAQ. It's WIRE. That's the ticker. Check them out. Amazing growth. Great company led by Daniel Jones, our CEO. Wonderful guy. If you ever walk into a room, for example, a guy that's worth literally millions of dollars, and you think you're talking to somebody that's just making the same as you or less, that's the kind of conversation you can have with this guy. And he's our CEO. Just a sweetheart of a guy. Right. Okay. So, but he is a big believer that your butt has to be in the seat at Encore. He doesn't believe in remote. But then COVID hit and we all got to work from home. And it opened the eyes to people to the fact that, you know what? Things were still clicking. We can still do. I answer phones, technical, dealers, reps, issues around the country. I keep us out of lawsuits. I am the one that handles the technical. If somebody's got a problem with it, you better hope you installed it right. Because if I look at it and I find something wrong with the install, whether it's code or the physical install, and you're trying to overcharge for labor to fix something, I'm going to make sure we don't pay it because you're full of BS. That's what I do on a daily basis. So I get why they need me there. But the neat thing about it was it opened up their eyes to remote. And I tell you what, Jay, that 300 and some days of being able to wake up, and I was still up at the normal time because we had, one of the deals here is we had to be at work like normal. So if you had to be, I have to be by 7:50, I have to be in my desk to be ready to work at 8. That's just our company policy. So same concept was here. You had to be up and ready to go. And I would just come to my office and all of my phone calls, all of my issues would be redirected here. And it was like it was neat. You're right. You could take a break, go to the bathroom normal. You could go to your kitchen, and productivity went up. Now we're back in the office, but it's still, I miss that. I like the work from home, Yeah. And I think that you're right. Most companies clear up office space, clear up, all this other things, turn off lighting in areas that don't need it, save energy. You're going to get the same response from me, whether I'm at home or I'm at work. Now, it's not the same, obviously, in the electrical industry. You got to get out there and work. You got to make the money. But for what I do, it was great, for that type of thing. And I'm sure it's the same with Elwood there that, save that time, that gas, all that, benefit. And that's a benefit for a company.
Because when COVID happened and they started shutting down businesses, you just can't shut down everybody. The world just doesn't shut down, just because of COVID. And not saying that COVID isn't serious by any means.
Damn it, Fauci didn't try to shut everything down. Oh, we'll get into that in an episode. I'm just saying. But
I mean, how do you overcome? How do you adapt to it? And so many people had to. It pretty much COVID forced us to work remotely. If COVID never happened, it wouldn't remote working wouldn't be as big as it is now. It wouldn't be as popular. You know, you wouldn't have so many upsides to it like we've talked about because we weren't thinking outside of the box, right? Because we've never had something really like this to keep us at home and to go, okay, well, obviously you have to be at home, so we got to get your butt working from home, right? We
Yeah.
can't control what you do. You know, in the meantime, on your shifts, we don't have all eyes on you like probably the cameras do at your other works, but you don't need all that. Like you said, you go home or you're at home, excuse me, you get in your seat, you log in your computer about 10 minutes early and you're there. You're
Mhm.
still taking phone calls, you're still working. The thing is for lunch, you just go to your fridge instead of going to Taco Bell or whatever it
Yeah.
is, it's kind of nice. And so I thought that was a huge benefit as well. And also it's also grown, deliveries. I mean, obviously Amazon was already big as it was, but
Huge,
they've like doubled or tripled in size
huge.
since COVID happened, just because everybody does. And online shopping, we don't even go out to the grocery store much anymore unless we need something that day, and then we're in and out because we just don't like the big environments, right?
Mhm.
We still try to play it safe, and so we have a lot of our groceries delivered, which is awesome, right? You don't have to go out. You don't have to load up the baby. You don't have to drive, 20 miles to the store, unload the baby out, get her in a cart, walk around, pick out everything. All you do is you just pull up your phone, do your order, and they do have substitutes, which is kind of nice because if you're ordering something a certain brand or certain style of I don't know product and they don't have it, they'll ask you if you're okay with this substitute item, which is pretty neat. And so sometimes you do come up short on deliveries and that happens, right? You got to take the good with the bad, but for the fact that we don't have to go out and spend that hour and a half, 2 hours and just get it delivered to our door and pay maybe just a little small fee for it. I
How
like that.
many how many
I like
people how many people did you how many people do you personally know got COVID? You know anybody that you know
that I
personally that got
personally know.
yeah, that got COVID? Whether it's
There's about
COVID
a
or the
handful
or
of
the or the D Delta variant. Okay, we don't break any HIPAA rules, but just how many do you
about a
know?
dozen people. I think I got about a dozen people, maybe a little more or less. I mean, one of my guys right now from church, Shane Becker,
Oh,
pray for him because
beep, HIPAA rule. Can't talk about those things. Oh, you
what's
said it
that?
already. Can't mention names. That's a is
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry. The
we can do
violating
whatever
the
we want.
HIPAA rule.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. But my buddy Shane, my buddy, he's in the ICU right now, man, and he's on
Mm,
ventilator, and he's
mm,
getting rolled over every other day to try to keep his breathing up high. So, he missed Thanksgiving with his family, and
mm.
he's been in there for about 12, 14 days now. So when he snaps out of it and gets healing, they're gonna have to retrain him how to walk, and stuff like that. So
That's
you feel
terrible.
for all the people that are affected by it, and but personally, I've probably had about 12 people that I know that have caught COVID that I know personally. It's usually hey, my brother, sister, or my cousin, or my grandma. A lot of elderly people. I mean, I know people directly who have been affected by it. Not maybe them directly, but their relatives or friends or family. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
I
I've
think we're all affected by it.
in my office. We were gone for 300 some days, almost 400 days. And the COVID was out in the plants. The workers, the ones out there that are working, and Encore Wire just runs 365, 24/7. I think it take off on Christmas or whatnot. But there's somebody there working because they have a vertical furnace and has to be cleaned and reset and all that stuff. So it's neat. If you're ever out there, that's a neat thing to see. Jay, I had to get you down here so you can actually go on that tour because Encore's furnace, and it's an interesting story behind that furnace. It's actually a Southwire furnace that Encore Wire purchased because Southwire makes, believe it or not, if you didn't know that, they make furnaces for wire and melting
Nice.
copper. Yeah, so Encore Wire purchased it from them. But the neat thing about it, and we got an award on the wall from Southwire, Encore Wire re-engineered it in order to get double the capacity out of what is expected out of that furnace. So that's kind of while we didn't invent it, we created a process that gets double the volume out of it. And so they got an award from Southwire on that they proudly hang on the wall. But yeah, in my office right now, since we came back, there's at least 10 cases of COVID just on my floor where I'm at. I'm in the administrative office, where our CEO's in the third floor, or I'm on the second floor. I think that's what it is. And yeah, so a couple VPs have gotten it. Down this one hallway that goes to where the break room is like 6 girls, sweet as can be girls. I think all of them have had it. And sure. So one girl that's in there now, her husband, who already had COPD, he's having a struggle. They had to incubate or whatever they call it. They had to do something. Yeah. So that was terrible. In my house, my son had it, that he stayed quarantined up in his room, which he's usually up there all the time anyway. So we made it past that. Me and my wife did get vaccinated. Back when they said that the vaccination would keep you from getting it, of course, we found out that's not the case, that you still can get it, just might not get it as bad, that you don't die. Yeah. But then there are people still dying, so I don't know. And who knows? And we're going to have a topic about that one night as well, because I think that probably oversteps certain rights and all. But anyway, so yeah, the landscape has totally changed. Totally changed. The work from home environment is now, again, I wish they'd give us that option, because again, if they need me at the office, I'm only, I live probably, I probably live less than 3 miles from my office. Really close, 3 or 4 miles from my office. So I'm really close. I live in McKinney, and Encore is in McKinney. So, hey, Frank has a question. He says, does Encore make marine wire? No, we don't actually make marine wire. We make THHN, THWN-2, XHHW-2, RHH, RHW-2, PV wire. We make MC cable, AC cable, PVC jacketed MC cable, tray cable. We make, what else? Oh, NMB. We make SE, service entrance cable. But we do not make marine wire. We make building wire. Man. We make building wire, and that's what we focus on, building wire. Veterans? Marine. Don't think that's not what we're talking about, Jay.
Oh, sorry. You have to start making Force, Army wire and Navy wire. And
now we do sell wire to different installations. They have their own rules for the military for their wire. But again, all of our stuff is building wire. Okay. But yeah, for exposure outside, USC-2, direct burial. SC cable is exposed wire, is cable exposure outside. MC cable with the PVC jacketing outside. We make that. We make healthcare facility cable, which is like an MC with the redundant ground, 517.13 A and B compliant. We make AC cable that also complies with 517.13 A and B, which is redundancy for that application for healthcare facilities. Yeah, we make new hybrid cable, which is one of my inventions, which is both an SC cable and a tray cable, all in one. Does both. So that's available only from Encore.
Boom.
Yep. So we make vertical run MC. People ask what that is. If you've ever run MC of the larger vertically, straight up and down, it's basically just like running a raceway, even though cable's not a raceway, but the conductors can slip because of the gravitational force and the weight. So in order to keep the conductors from slipping, traditionally as electricians, we would put offsets in it. And we want to know, where do we put these offsets? Well, we follow the rules in 300.19a for individual conductors inside of a raceway, where we have to put supports. Well, we can't really do that in MC, and it would remove the benefits of MC if we had to put a box in. So you put offsets in it at those same intervals, and that keeps the conductors from slipping. Well, then that's when we came up with a product called Riser MC from another company, and our version of that is Vertical Run MC. And basically it just keeps the conductors inside of it from slipping. So, but if you were to do a long run straight up and then turn a 90 to go into a box or do something on, then you're probably going to put enough friction on it anyway that you don't need that specialized cable. But there's a lot of big runs vertically that need to have those things in it, so they need to make sure those conductors don't slip. So we make those kind of products. So Franklin, that's what we make. We don't make marine wire specifically, that type of thing.
I know we're throwing out. I'm kind of trying to keep a list, and if anybody out there has any topics, I know we said send them to us, but you can always put them in the chat too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of keeping an ongoing topic list right now, because again, we're open now, right? It doesn't have to be codesy. It doesn't have to be all about electrical. You're just getting two electrician standpoints from any topic that we pick. Obviously, you got the old man on that side, and you got the younger version on this side. But I'm keeping a list right now, so I have a couple.
I need some new sound effects.
Yeah, we gotta do that, and we probably should update the wheel eventually too. Together. Maybe not on this show, but on the next one. But the few topics I do have, obviously starting your own business, hire or not hire extra help, because that's something we've kind of gone over. Vaccination versus non-vaccination, or again, just kind of throw that out there. Again, we want to have topics on other stuff other than just electrical.
How many people, Jay? How many people do you think I will alienate from this? Because this is how people are today. I'm serious. This is how people are today. How many people do you think that I will alienate because I said that I was a Republican? Who will simply not listen to the show just because I say I'm a Republican and I supported Donald Trump? How many people do you think, if I watch the numbers, they'll drop off? Because, we have a problem today in society where you can't accept both sides and say, well, we can agree to disagree. And,
no.
And it's amazing today what that is, how we've gotten to that. You'll have people that will unfriend you because you have differing opinions. Yeah. Now, I would never do that until the other person goes, you're stupid for believing in Republican. Then we're done. Don't call me names. I'm not going to call you names and you'll call me names. You can believe what you want to believe. It's just like somebody might like this brand versus Ford versus Chevy or whatever. I always used to say friendships are the base and everything else is just layers on top of it. And so they're the onion. Yeah. So we can agree to disagree. And so we're going to have those moments. And if you don't like the show because you don't agree with me or Jay's position on something, that's okay. But that's kind of foolish because we talk about all topics and your opinion. In fact, I'd love in a future episode for you to come on here, call in, and let's have a debate. Yeah. Just keep it clean. Okay. I'm not going to yell at you. Don't yell at us, that type of thing. But again, everybody's got entitled to opinion. We can all agree, disagree. I can tell you at the work all the time, me and Kevin get into disagreements all the time. Hey, he works for me. That doesn't change anything. He gets entitled to his opinion and I'm entitled to mine. He believes that the Rittenhouse case, that Kyle Rittenhouse was asking for it by taking a gun to a riot. And I believe differently. I was like, dude, he was just protecting himself. He was there to render first aid where necessary. And people started grabbing for his gun or pointing guns at his head. He was defending himself. It's okay. I'm not going to think any differently of Kevin because he has that opinion. He doesn't like guns at all. So it's all good. Yeah. Right? That type of thing. Also, other trades. Chris says that, your buddy here. Dude, I joke about plumbers. I joke about this, but I welcome them on the show. Yeah. Love to have some guests on. Call-ins from other trades and all different talk. I don't know much about plumbing, hot on the left, cold on the right, and crap don't run uphill. That's my extent. I've done my share of PEX work in the past, back when we used to do water heater replacements and instant hot water heaters and stuff, and I would do that. I get it. Other trade, other topics, boom, bring them. That's what we're opening up Electrify for. Other topics, different things. You might say, well, Paul, I just wanted the code. Well, we got plenty of code. I've got the Ask Paul podcast. I've got the courses. I've got the videos teaching the NEC. That is not what this show is about. And that's originally what I bought Jay on. And it kind of always seemed to fall back into code. But Jay's got to keep me.
Keep him grounded. Keep him.
So many other things to talk about. And we want your insight. We want your opinion. So, dude, share it. Let other people know that it's not just, I don't want to go listen to Paul. He's just a code guy. dude, we're going to talk about ask me anything you want to ask me. My opinion, I am more than happy to share my opinion. I'm sure Jay is as well. I don't know if Jay stays up to date on current events though, but who knows?
I'm going to have to try to now. I mean, I try to stay off the news as much as possible and reading
Big Smoke says,
stuff like that. But
what do you think about calibrated dual compressors? I don't think about them at all because I'm not sure I know what the heck that is. Sorry, Big Smoke.
I looked it up and it's just a compressor. It's just two compressors. What do I think about them? I think if you want the dual compressor because you can handle it, or it's affordable and you can get your money worth out of it. Maybe you're framing a building or something and you want two lines to run off of one compressor. Whatever. I don't know if that's kind of what I was seeing. I was looking it up. I don't know if that's what he was asking. I think they look a little bigger, bulkier, heavier, and probably more cost than a single one.
Are you talking about just a compressor, like nail gun compressor, job site compressor? Is that what that is?
I mean, I'm looking up online. I'm seeing multiple
Big, help us out. Help us out, Big. You ask us our opinion. Educate us on it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, let us know, brother.
Let us know, and I'll give you an opinion. But I don't know. I'm going to have to say that the hands dirty part, that's that guy over there these days. I don't anymore. So
yeah, and I
only compressors.
That's more.
Only compressors I ever used on the job was back when we used the nail guns and those kind of compressors. So.
I see. I'm gonna switch topics on this. I see a lot of guys use these heavy duty big wipes right on social media platforms, or these heavy duty like wipes. Big wipe, right? You're thinking maybe wiping your back end, but no, it's not baby wipe. I could see where those two could get crossed pretty quick, but no, they're like I see a lot of people on the social media platforms where they're wiping down their tools, and they're using these things called big wipes or clean wipes or big cleans or whatever. As an electrician, did you?
Do you have them on your website? Share a link in the chat to if there's a website for it. Hey, that is another new feature that we can do when we're talking about certain things in the chat. Now, since I have that feature, I can share, or even Jake share, and they're clickable links. So you should be able to go, if we're talking about products, because I think we are going to do that in some future episodes. We're going to talk about certain products and maybe, give you some links to it, but hopefully you will open it up in a separate browser and not lose us. But give you some stuff to do, or at least the chat will be able to click on it in the future. But what are these? What are these big wipes? What are they? What is it? Basically, just a big wet nap, or what?
So they come in a tub, like almost like the wipes that you would use to, like clean your car if you're detailing it. They come in a stand up container,
pre-lubricated.
Yeah, they're already pre-moisturized, whatever, with the stuff on it, with the lubrication or whatever, that they provide on these. I've never used them. That's why I kind of bring them up. But I see they're a big thing on social media, and a lot of people.
You gotta take care of your tools. A
lot of people take care of their tools.
Take care of your tools. They'll take care of you, right? So
and that's what I was going to ask you. I got to run for about maybe 2 seconds, real quick. But when I get back, I'm going to ask you that question. So I'll be right back.
All right. Boy, he's got to go. See, that's see me. You haven't heard me talk about that yet. See, my bladder is twice his age, and I haven't had to run yet. And I've drank a beer. I've drinking one of these, almost done. He's drinking one or two mimosas, and all of a sudden he's got to run to the bathroom and go to the bathroom. See, so look, folks. Just because you get old, that has no bearing on your bladder. That's a young man right there. And boo, peeing all the time, right? Chris, we do have the number on the screen, but we weren't really doing any call-ins tonight. If that was you calling, I ignored it. That was you, because we really weren't doing any call-ins tonight. But when Jay comes back, if he wants you to do a call-in, but there's no way he went to the bathroom that quick. Because again, maybe his bladder, Jay's bladder, can't hold a lot of liquids because, again, he's not exercised his bladder over the years to be able to expand it. But if he went to the bathroom and went to the bathroom that quick, then that tells me he has excessive pressure. Because while I have not had to go to the bathroom yet, when I go and I am there, it takes a while to get everything out Now that might be the age thing, but for him, it's like it's gone. You know,
and then I'm back that fast. Well, that's what happens when you down quite a bit of liquid compared to
dude.
What was it? A third of a beer, and now
coffee. I've had coffee, couple cups of coffee. I've had a beer. Can you imagine what's going on in your gut with all that crap in there? The beer.
Oh, I know, right? It's
and
just
then,
washing around in
and
there.
then this icy, right? And so my diabetes doctor said you have to drink more water. So I said, okay, I'll drink more of these. And she goes, that is not water. So I'm like, well, it says water. It says sparkling ice flavored sparkling water. She's like, that is not water, Paul. So
it's not water.
I said, it's not water.
Try to find this thing real quick, man. I want to try to find those big wipes and send a link for them.
Looks like it's big naps, just big naps, that type of thing.
Big naps?
Yeah, no, I don't know if that's what I'm just saying. It's like a big wet naps. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, it's exactly what it is. So they on the social media platform, the Big Wipes USA. You know, a lot of people post stuff on them, but they're cleaning, heavy duty cleaning antibacterial hand wipes, and a lot of people use them to clean their tools. And that's what I was going to ask you. Did you ever clean your hand tools? Because I mean,
no,
I never did.
If they got all crappy, I'd clean them. If I got all nasty or something, I mean, I guess I would wipe them all. I'm not gonna put dirty old tools back in my bag. So, I mean, I guess I cleaned them, wiped them off. I didn't get any special product for that. I just grabbed a rag or whatever and wiped them off. So Chris wants to call in. Maybe he's going to give some stories about Jay or something. So Chris, if you want to recall back in, I will patch you through. The number is 214-945-0653. We're going to have call-ins, but we are tonight or today or whatever. We're midday drinking here on Friday, fun day. Just having a conversation for who happens to stroll in or not.
You call in.
I don't get a chance to talk to Jay that much, so this is almost better than us just calling over the phone. We get to have conversations and let you in, and you can join the conversation.
Don't be that guy though.
Oh, he wants to be that guy. He might want to be that guy. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Don't be that guy. So last night during the football, Elwood says wet wipes. Yeah, they're pretty much the construction wet wipes is what they are. I'm gonna try to get a link. I'll actually, you know what? Because I'm looking at them on Instagram. A lot of people use them on there.
Well, they should have a link on Instagram to it. Oh, so
yeah,
I had some people ask, are we ever going to stream this to Instagram? The answer to that is I can, but I'm not. And I'll tell you why. Instagram is a vertical platform. It shows video only in the middle. It's great for one person in the middle. It is not conducive to having a show with two people on it because it would only show the middle of the screen. You only get half of me and half of Jay, if that much. So not conducive for me to show stream it on Instagram.
Oh.
There you go.
There's the link right there for them, the big wipes. They got the multi-purpose or the heavy duty. Again, I have not used these things.
They didn't sponsor a show. What are they getting a free plug or something?
I thought you said right. Send a link in there.
I did. I'm just playing.
I'm like, my goodness. What is this? This guy has a half a beer and he can't even remember what he said 2 seconds ago. And I'm on my 13th cup, you know?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can shift here.
They even have when you go there. Oh, this is cool, man. I'm on there.
Hold on.
Call from
Chris Whitey.
What's up, Chris? You on the air? You're live.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
All right. How are you?
Good. I've just been watching the show. It's good stuff.
Oh, good deal. Glad to have you on.
Of course. I like how you're going to do different trades and stuff.
Oh yeah, more than happy to have additional ones come on here and talk their thing. They want to talk their thing.
Right. Well, hanging out with Jay every day, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
it's rough. It's rough when you got someone who picks up all your tabs and takes you out and takes care of you, and
Oh,
Well,
you fall down, I pick you up, I wipe off your wound and
well, Chris,
everything. I mean,
what do you tell them if you're making somebody money, you might as well treat them nice.
exactly. I tell him he's got the money, so he's got to treat his best friend somehow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Chris, let us know what type of work you do, since I obviously know what you do.
Yeah, tell us.
You work for the union, but let us know a little bit about the work that you do and how long you've been doing it.
So I'm a first-year apprentice for Local 24 structural ironworkers out here in Denver. There's a lot to know, and it's kind of crazy. I didn't think it took that much, but it takes a lot. Just like you guys with your electrical and all that stuff.
So you don't do electrical. You're just friends with Jay, and then Jay picks up the tab. So that's different. See,
right.
So I tell Jay, I said, your employees, you need to pick up the tab. Now, friends, obviously you could go Dutch because y'all might have some man crush thing going on. But if you go out, it's nice for Jay to pick up the tab. I'm just saying.
Right, exactly. That's why I hang out with him so much.
I was saying he's the baller. He's the roller.
Exactly.
Does he go to the bar? Does he go to the bar and go like this and make it rain? Make it rain.
Only when
kidding me, man? The bars nowadays won't even let you bring in money. You gotta have You gotta have card only. They don't. People here don't even like. Yeah, you just wave your card around.
You know what? I'm surprised Jay hasn't gotten one of those. I watched over on, I don't know if it's LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, it wouldn't be on that platform. Too professional on that platform. Over on, I don't know if it was Facebook or anyway, there's this company that you could send your debit card to. Now, I'd be a little scary because they're outside of the country. But they post something, you can send your debit card or I guess credit card, and they actually make a metal one and laser it, and it's all fancy, and they'll put your chip in it and everything, and then they send you both back, and it works just like your regular card, but it's metal, and it's all fancy, custom design. And I can see Jay hitting the bar with one of those, whipping it out with his company lasered all over it and going, I got it, everybody, it's on me.
Drinks on everyone. You know what? Just get everybody a drink. Let's just all have a shot together, enjoy it. Drinks on Wired Up.
I could just see him doing this though. Here's my impression of Jay at a bar picking up the tab. Mimosas around, everybody. Just saying. That was it. There you go.
Yeah.
So Chris, with you being a first-year apprentice, through the union as an iron worker, are they putting you in school? Did you, and if so, did you have the option, or was it a must to go to school? And are they providing it? Are they paying for it? Tell us about the schooling and the education that you're getting from the union.
Yeah, so it's a 3-year program, and so it's all paid for. I don't have to pay a dime out of my pocket, and so you work a full day, and then you go to school 1 day a week, and then you have to do a Saturday for shop class once a month. So, but it's all paid for, and you do a lot of you learn more out on the field than you do in the classroom, in my opinion.
Of course.
So,
the classes, they have a certain a curriculum they have to meet, and whether that's hitting certain books in certain categories on at the time where on the job training, you're actually out there working hands-on. You probably have the harness. You got a huge belt and tools. So tell us a little bit about the tool setup.
Yeah, but what's he doing? So you welding?
You're doing welding. You're putting up columns. You're pretty much bolting up a whole building. You're pretty much doing everything. So basically, when we get out on the field, we kind of like run everything besides electrical and all that stuff, because you can't really do anything unless you have a building up.
Right.
Right.
So.
Right. So that's something I've never done was welding, and I always wanted my I thought about that would be neat. I watched some of the videos, and again, not just to show you, people watch videos on anything. On TikTok, it's hard to believe. Yeah, some crazy videos on that, creative but crazy. But there are things of people doing welding, and they're worrying about making these nice welds. And I was like, that'd be neat to learn how to weld. I don't know why the world I'd want to or care, but there's a MIG welding, there's TIG welding, there's a difference, and there's how you weld. And I always thought welding would be interesting to learn, because I know there's.
Well, I used to be a certified welder back in 2007, so I know what they expect and what they look for, and it's not easy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, people can do. There's some pretty welders out there, and there's some crappy looking welds. I guess the people say, well, it'll hold, but I don't know, because you can tell some welds look like they wouldn't hold nothing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's a lot harder because we got inspectors that come and look at everything. So if it doesn't pass, you have to grind out everything and redo the whole thing.
Ooh.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do a non-destructive, don't they? They do something on the welds.
Yeah.
They look at the welds and they can tell the welds or whether or not how they're done or whatnot. If it, and they scan it or do something to the welds.
They do an X-ray. They have a little tiny X-ray machine that they scan through the whole weld. It's kind of like they put this like cream on the weld, and then they just go over it with an X-ray. And if there's any kind of slag or a little kind of crack, you have to cut it out and do it again.
Oh, okay.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of process. It's like the last job I just did that we finished, we had a man bridge that we built, and every single weld had to be checked. And it takes,
Well, that is neat.
It's neat. 2 hours.
It's neat itself that you built a bridge dedicated to me. That's amazing. I mean, because we could have bridges out there called boy bridges. And that would be Jay, but
right, yeah.
Look at that look. Look at that look he just gave me. Like, wait a minute. He's either gets it or he's lost.
You guys call yourselves my friends.
Well,
but really, I just think you guys, you guys are just here to make, and that's okay. That's what I'm okay with. I know Elwood has my back. I know some people out there in the chat have my back. So hey. You guys just have your little fun, poke your fun, make your little man bridges, with your little man buns and drinking your Michelob Ultras, whatever, man. It's okay,
There is no man bun here, okay?
I might be able to make a man bun out of my beard, but that's about it.
Out of the beard that you got.
I guess I could go for a mullet, because it still grows back here. It could be one big, huge comb over.
Right.
Speaking of comb overs, I used to have a guy, was a customer of mine, who was going bald, but he was in denial. He had this comb over, and this comb over was about 1.5 feet long. So we'd be out somewhere and the wind was blowing. This thing would be like flowing to the side, and I'm sitting there looking at him going, dude, you do know that's the funniest thing I ever seen. And I couldn't stare at him without cracking up, because that thing, the wind would hit it. And just anyway, sorry.
It wouldn't last. It wouldn't last at my job. It gets windy up when you're 60 feet in the air.
So you're literally doing the frame, the I-beams, the connection, all that as you build the frame for the skeleton structure of a building.
Yep, we walk on that iron, and you're 60 feet in the air, and you're walking across iron, and it's blowing 30 plus winds. Yeah,
you like that?
It gets a little sketchy. Yeah, it your butthole puckers. I'll tell you that.
I will say. Now, do you have to have a body harness on all the time when you're up there? Do they make you?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a day where you saw the pictures in the old days when they were doing the stuff in New York, all the skyscrapers and all. These guys were sitting up there on I-beam eating lunch, and dude.
Oh yeah, we got some guys. I got some guys on my crew that's when they started, they didn't have no harnesses or anything. They just walked on it with. Just them, no harnesses or nothing.
Wow.
So
yeah, safety's come a long ways.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Heck, if I want to be up on.
So Chris, with the harness and with the tools you wear and everything like that, because obviously you have to be up in 60 feet. You're not going down. You're not going down off the lift or off that iron to grab a tool. Even though you are union and the guys in electrical, we'd run off of a toolbox that was down on the ground. We'd have to come up and down. You probably have to have every tool, every piece, every part with you, or in a bucket, or in like maybe a canvas bag. Explain that with like how heavy are your bags? What are your daily tools that you carry on you? And if you do have to get down, it seems like it's a hassle. Explain that process to us.
So you got a belt, we call them spud wrenches. So it's basically to, tighten up the bolts and stuff. And then you got 2 bolt bags, or you can have 3, however many you want. But I have 2 bolt bags. Just the belt alone, I want to say is, I don't know, 35, maybe 40 pounds. And then you got, 2 bolt bags full of bolts. That adds on another, 50 or 60 pounds, and you just, you got 2 spuds, you got it's called a bolt pin. So it's basically, if your holes don't line up on the iron, it helps you line the holes up. And then you also have a sledgehammer.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking, I'm picturing in my mind when you said what you do. I'm sitting here thinking of those old videos that I've seen where the guys have those red hot bolts and they put it through it and they're banging it in there. Basically, it's a rivet. And I mean, that's like the old school is what I'm thinking. It's like where it, they what they're doing is they're pulling out one of the red hot. I guess I'm dating myself. Pull out the red hot, put it in there, and then on the other side they have a pneumatic and it But that's not what we're talking about. You're talking bolts and nuts and things like that.
Yeah, and then on top of that, once you get all the structure up, you got, I don't know, 4,000 pounds of deck that you got to put on top of that iron too. So you're still walking across. You got a big old saw that you got to carry up there, and you got studs that you have to weld on. It's a big process, and it's not for everybody. I'll tell you that.
So what made you want to go into that? I mean, what sparked you into doing that?
It's the money. And it's a career. I used to drive a truck for a living, and I just got tired of traffic and people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because one of my good buddies that got me the job, at first I was like, dude, you're freaking nuts going up that high and doing all that stuff. But it's kind of like everything else. You just get used to it. Like I was definitely afraid of heights, honestly. Like Jay can contest to that. I was definitely afraid of heights, and now, I'm kind of used to it. So, it's like everything else.
Well, that's like those videos I see of the people that say, I saw a video on one of the social media things or whatever it was, the highest tower in the country or whatever has a lamp on the top of it, or a light bulb for those non-electrical viewers. And it has to be replaced like twice a year or something.
Yeah.
And a dude gets paid, I can't remember what it was. He gets paid like $40,000 or $50,000 a year just to go up that thing twice a year. And his post was like, would you do that? And I'm like, I looked at that and I'm like, no, I am not climbing up that tower that high to change a freaking lamp. I'm not. I do something else. But the money was crazy because of the fact that it was somebody wanted to do that. So I imagine working on the buildings, skyscrapers, different buildings like that, mid-rises.
Mm-hmm. We're actually getting ready to do a 12-story building out here. So that's going to be fun.
So that's a long-term project. How long are y'all on, from when you can turn it over to the other trades to do the internal? How long does it take you? You think it'll take you to do the 12-story building, the structure frame?
Well, I guess it all depends on contracts. So, some of them, they got 2-year contracts, and it also depends on, especially out here, with weather and everything else. Like we still work out in the weather. We work in the snow. We work in the rain. we have to go out there and shovel off iron just to walk on it. So I guess it all depends on the general foreman too. But the last project we did, I think we did it in, I want to say, a little over a year. So,
Okay.
and it's for a big school out here. So,
say that's just a commitment a year, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I have serious problems with commitment like that. I'm surprised that I've worked at Encore Wire for 8 years, because prior to that, I always worked for myself, or I worked for NEMA, or with the city of Richmond or Alexandria. I was there 3 years max. Most of the time I worked for myself. So city of Richmond, maybe 3, Northern Virginia, maybe 3, NEMA, maybe 2. So to be at Encore Wire for 8 years, I'm like, yeah, at least it's a little different each day. But when we used to do a lot of the commercial work, it would drive me crazy, because I literally hate things that draw out. Residential I liked because, you know, in and out, boom, boom, get it done. So, but I can imagine in your thing, it is something different yet the same that you're doing. So, but the pay must be very well. So maybe Jay, maybe Chris should be picking up the tab, Jay. I don't know. Saying.
Yeah, I mean, he says his school's paid for. He works all kinds of hours. He's got that steady income, where mine kind of fluctuate depending on whether or not people want their jobs done. So yeah, I think you're right. I think
I don't want to ruin a good thing for you. I don't want to ruin a good thing for you, Chris. But I'm just saying, you know, there is that possibility that you know, the responsibility
Chris,
you know.
Before he picks up the tab, he might want to check with his wife. You know, again, I'm just throwing that out there, bud. You might want to check with your wife before you go spending some money.
I gotta check with the real boss. I gotta check with the real boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. You know. Always.
I'm not saying I run that you don't wear the pants in your family. I mean, obviously I do in mine, but I'm not saying that you do in yours or you don't. Just better check with her first.
Well,
exactly.
Well, it's obviously Jalissa's not joining us on Electrify today. Although if she was, there would be a comment in the chat, I'm sure.
Oh, I know for a fact there would be.
I think she's laying down, so let's just let her sleep, get her rest. She had her what do they call those? The mother-in-law, you know, and father-in-law in the house for the last 4 days. So she's winding down off of that stress. So we'll just let her be. Yeah,
she's in recovery mode now. She's like, okay,
right.
Enough of that.
Exactly.
You know. So
no, but it's you know, I watch your guys' show all the time, and it's just your trade and my trade. I mean, they're different, but they're really not different. You know what I mean? So. It's just kind of cool.
We need each other, you know. I mean, in a sense, even though you're on the commercial side of it, and I'm on the residential side, I look at iron workers. You know, you build a structure, that's the same kind of residential as like the framers, right? You got to have them build the framing walls, the framing members in order to put the electrical in, and same with you guys. You guys got to build the shell of it for us to come in, and the plumbers and the HVAC and everybody else to come in and put their product, you know, their cable or their ducting, their plumbing, whatever inside of it. So we need, as much as all the trades hate each other, and this we'll get into when we do that topic on that day, but we actually, at the end of the day, we need each other. And I've always looked at it like this: if you can put your so-called beef aside as plumbers and HVAC and masonry guys, concrete guys, iron workers, whatever, and you can work together, it's not that bad of a deal. You know, it's just when certain individuals have that mentality of, you know, I'm better than you, or what I do is you know, my trade is better than your trade, or I'm not going to go out of my way to help you, screw you, I'm doing my job, what I'm supposed to be told. That mentality sucks. You know, I worked with a lot of guys from different trades that had that mentality, and it's just like, all right, buddy, well, I have a job to do. And if you're not going to make it easier, you're not going to help me do that job because we have to work together, then, you know, I've even went up to higher people and tell them, because again, at the end of the day, I have to get a job done.
Mhm.
And if this guy or gal or whoever it is isn't going to allow me to put my electrical in their masonry for outside lightings or whatever it is, the structure on the side of it, then what am I even doing here? You know what I mean? Like we
Right.
have to work together. And I've actually even had
Mhm.
people not kicked off jobs, but I've had them to where the point to where they don't want to talk to me. But you know what? I'd rather have you not talk to me and work with me than be just a complete, you know what?
Mhm.
So in your trade, Chris, with you being iron workers, what other trades do you work together with? Who are you guys working next to the most or with when you're out there
You
building
know,
that? So, since you guys are probably the first ones on the job sites.
right. I would probably, don't count me on this, but I would think concrete guys, because once you get the deck in and stuff, they have to put in the concrete and the rebar and all that stuff.
Dude,
So,
and you have to watch that. I've watched tons of videos where the whole floor collapses if they don't do it right, dude.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
We got if the building's not plumbed up right, it can set off everything else. Concrete could be, not set right, or it could crack, or this or that,
mhm.
So, it's a big team effort of everybody. And my thing is yeah, we all have different trades, but in the long run, guess what? We're giving everybody jobs,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, well, from my perspective, working with the other trades is from electrical. I can talk a lot of smack, right? If an electrical contractor on the job, but you know what? Depending on when I get in there, that could come back to hurt me, buddy. I don't want a plumber or a mechanical guy ticked off at me. That's why I never like to get in there first. I always like to get in there after. Although, because I can get my job residential usually, except for commercial. But then I'm putting things usually in raceways and whatnot. But residential, I like to say when the mechanical's done and the plumbing folks are done, I'm more than happy to come in there. It'll only take me a couple of days. I'll get in and out. Boom, won't be in your hair. I won't delay your project. They're like, well, no, the studs are up now. You can go and get in there early if you want. I'm like, but I was lucky that I worked with some great plumbers, mechanical, and the owner. You get to know the owners and the owners, so they, everybody got along well. But there is horror stories of, electricians getting in there first and the plumbers cutting something out of the way, or mechanical guy cutting something out of the way, or you always got to worry with electrical because, again, they nick something, damage a cable, they don't tell you about it, and then the house gets built or something happens, and then all of a sudden you got an issue, especially if you got AFCIs, and all of a sudden you have no idea where that arc is, and, how do you fix that? So, yeah, getting along with all the trades, in your case, working with the concrete folks, again, it's going to make you a nightmare if you don't. We got to work.
That's the same with us. If we don't rig a piece of iron up, or you're not putting your hands. I mean, you can lose an arm or fingers, quick. It's, you want everybody to be on the same page, especially if you're flying, steel 30, 50 feet in the air. You want to make sure nobody's under you. Or, on our last job, we got lucky. It wasn't us. It was another company using the lift or the crane, but I want to say it was probably about 4,000 pounds of deck. They put the wrong rigging on it, and it fell from the sky.
Oh,
so yeah, you got to make sure you're using all the right rigging, right size.
How many videos have you seen? How many videos have you seen in the news where the actual scaffolding breaks, or the crane falls over, and then you read where it 4 people, 5 people are killed, and all the time. We go over that stuff even in school. It's like they wanted. It's kind of, I think of like the apprenticeship for ironworkers. It's kind of like the military. They break you down and want you to do it your way. Right.
Their way,
Yeah. There. So what is it? Is it 4 years? Is it a 4-year apprenticeship for the steel worker? It's
3 years.
3
years. 3 years out here, but every union hall, say California or wherever, it's different. Like my sister's ex-husband, he's an iron worker. I think his was like 5 years. So it all depends on the union. So
Yeah, we'll have an upcoming show again about unions, and it would love for you to, your take. I mean, obviously, that's probably all those steel workers are all probably in a union.
Oh yeah.
Electrical, you can, depending on where you're at, whether it's union or not. We'll have an upcoming show. I support IBEW, but I have a beef with their corporate because they politically, I don't agree with their position, but that's just politically. As far as the organizations, some people are for union, some people are not for union. But I think with a steel worker like that, you're not going to get to do anything unless you're in the union.
No, I've got a couple guys that have done steel work non-union, and it's not the same because some reason you get fired or something from this company. Guess what? You just go down to the union hall. You got another job the next day.
Okay.
So it's all the same. There's a lot of companies out here that do steel work, but it comes down to it all being the same.
Are they pretty much all in the union?
Yeah, I would probably say about 90% of them.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of the guys on the chat, Elwood, he asked if you guys do prefabbing, and obviously your first year, maybe you don't know, maybe you can't answer this question too crazily, but do you guys have a prefab shop? And
yep,
do they
prefab
have
all
you
our
been
stuff.
A part of that, or?
I think he asked if it was prefab for PV. Do they prefab? Are they fabricating?
Oh yeah. Do they
for PV, like raceways for future PV applications? Are you seeing any of that? That type of thing.
I haven't seen that yet, but I'm sure we do.
I mean, California, I could imagine that would be something that would happen because they're really big on this California title. I can't remember if it's Title 24 or whatever. They're big on that. All residential has to have it pre-done for PV and things like that. But I think Elwood's was parking structures. So, but correct me, are you saying, are they putting in PV for parking structures in the steel beams? Have you done any parking structures?
I have not. I've just done the main buildings.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So there will be an upcoming show that me and Jay will probably get into that'll be talking about things like infrastructure, because as you say, this administration, we now have this infrastructure package, and from an electrical perspective, we'll just discuss where we think the growth should be for that infrastructure, and it won't be PV, but it will be probably like electric vehicle, in the fact that the infrastructure is just not there to support the EV. So, but that's going to be a great show, Jay. That's the whole reason we're opening up Electrify, is to talk about that, because I can give you insight from a manufacturer and have access to a lot of stuff that talks about EV, maybe EV ready, why we would want to get buildings EV ready, why we want to put in systems ahead of time. So there's going to be, PV, all that called PV ready, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about in upcoming shows as well. But
it'll be good, man. Even I have a topic for prefab or not prefab. This was a topic on Instagram that I was on a few days ago, and we had a conversation about prefabbing stuff, and like Chris said, they do a lot of prefabbing. When you're doing those commercial sites, industrial, or those bigger high end, not so much residential. We don't really prefab much in residential as far as the electrical end. Maybe the trusses and all that stuff are, but for electrical side of it, we don't really prefab much. But when I was working in the commercial side of it, doing big high-rise buildings, we would have anything prefab from the underground setups, with X amount of 3 to 4 inch pipes, PVC pipes with 90s on them, and they're already secured down and strapped within a certain distance, and you set that in your trench or whatnot to having the gear already, already kind of pre-wired, or the breakers in the panel box already in there. So like, for example, each apartment unit we would have a main lug only panel. Maybe it was 20, 40 spaces, but it already had the breakers in it, right? It was already breakered, and they were labeled what circuits you ran out of it. So if you were a journeyman with 3 apprentices, you go to your breaker box and someone was on home runs, you'd say, okay, bud, run all these home runs. They're all labeled, the microwave, go down your list left to right. And then also we would have, pallets of made up 4 squares with either single or double game mud rings for whatever devices were going in, that area. And we would have, maybe 15-foot MC whips on, to left and right of a box that's already made up. The grounds are already tied together. And in commercial, you always pigtailed everything. So you would take the incoming white and the outgoing white, and you'd wire connect it with another pigtail coming off it, a lead coming off of it to make up the device. All this stuff was done. You just had to connect the dots with it. And the frustrating part was everything wasn't always designed for prefabbing. Right. So you would have to take apart some stuff. Some of the leads weren't long enough. Some of the cable coming out of the one device to connect to the other wasn't long enough. So you were undoing some of their prefab already, which was frustrating. But at the end of the day, if you do it right, the prefab shop, when they bring it out to the field, it just makes things so much easier, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but I can tell you where we're seeing the biggest thing in that example, where it is in the data center. So everything is exploding with data centers. So obviously we make wire and cable, but what we're seeing is there's right up the road from us, it's probably not 20 miles up the road, is a huge facility that makes prefabs, the modules for modular data centers. So for the Facebooks, the Switch, I guess, and Googles, and they make it. Everything is already there. The cable tray is there. The cables are in. Everything is there. Plug and play like modules on a Lincoln log set. Man. And so everything's already run. And so these big data centers are opening up, and they're opening up everywhere. Google, just down here in Austin, just everywhere. They supply these for them, and they're just plug and play almost. And that is huge market for the prefab stuff and what they're doing in the data center. And it's been a large element. The data centers has been a large growth area for companies like ours that make wire and cable. But again, if you can prefab as much as you can, then hey, it can help you out. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah. Well, that's how the job I'm on now is. We call them quick walls. So they're basically just the concrete walls that you just set and go, so it's already pre-done. We're still doing iron stuff. We have to put in staircases and things that go on the roof. So there's still some iron that needs to be done with it. So, it's kind of nice to go to a place where, you already got concrete walls up and stuff, and you're,
what is that? That's the casting, right? Where the whole outer parts and kind of. We did that. Uncle Wire just built a 750,000 square foot distribution center. If you're not familiar with how big 750,000+ square feet is,
that's big. Yeah,
it was just for our distribution plant. And we already had one, but we wanted to turn that into another production because we couldn't keep up with the MC, AC, and millions of feet needed. So we moved in that thing. Yeah, they cast walls, and that goes up almost within a couple of days. I mean, it's amazing how that goes up. But you're right. Inside of it, the beams and everything that supports the roof and all that, still the steel guys have to come in. They still have to put all the beams up that support the weight and everything. Mm-hmm. These were just the cast. Yep. These were just the walls.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So we looked at it riding down the road. We're thinking, dude, they put that up quick. This ain't gonna take them any time. And they were like, no, there's still a lot of stuff that has to be done inside. And so that's just when they kept showing the pictures of all the steel.
See that. They're like, oh, the building's up already, so it's almost done. No. Yeah. You used to put walls, drywall, electrical, all that stuff, HVAC, all that. So,
Yeah, it's just like with electrical, they start seeing a light go on. They think everything's almost done. You know, you get one or two little sections that have the lights go on. You flip a switch and set of lights go on. Everybody's, oh yeah, we're almost done. It's like, no, we still gotta
a
trim
little bit
out
to
all the
go.
other devices. We
Yeah.
still gotta, set all the big stuff. And when they bring in their equipment, we gotta hook that up. So yeah, it's crazy how they see that, but also they don't see what all goes into it. Like you guys probably have a prefab shop that does that, or the concrete company has a prefab shop that does that as well. So they're not seeing all the stuff done behind the scene, but when it gets spread out to the job site, it's just one big piece. Boom, there you go, set
Right.
it and move on. So,
Yeah.
and I imagine,
Exactly.
Chris, for you guys with being out there doing the iron and stuff, you guys work around a lot of cranes.
Oh yeah, cranes, boom lifts, trucks. And people don't see that. It takes a minute to move everything around to get where you need to go.
Sure.
Especially if you have to use a boom lift, or something like that. You got to work with it again. You have to work with all the other companies. Hey, they might be doing something here, so you have to wait 30 minutes. So you just wait. So.
Yeah, that's all you can do, because everybody's focused on that one piece or whatever getting set at that one location. So a lot of it's probably just kind of like the military, hurry up and wait, right? You hurry up, you get to that spot, and then you wait around a little bit. But then when it comes in, it's a boom, 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 get it set, get it moving, get it secured, and
Hey,
there you go.
Let's get it spicy and have Chris call out some people. So Chris, is there anybody on your site that's just, talks smack all the time? Is there always that one guy on every job site that just talks smack all the time? Y'all got that one guy?
Oh.
Yeah, who is it, Chris?
I think all my guys are.
All steel workers talk smack.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you can't douche it out, then you're in the wrong spot or wrong trade.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine all these guys that work in the steel work as you move up. So do you have any people out there on the site that, we do this with electrical. You have certain, again, it doesn't take long for somebody in the electrical industry to become, at least to hold the title of a master electrician. I get it. Mm-hmm. When it comes to steel workers, I don't know that they're the same kind of titles. So once they become a steel worker or whatever it is, whatever y'all's the title is there certain people on the job site that you just, not because of their age, but you just look at and go, that dude knows his stuff? Or maybe you have nobody.
Actually, yeah, well, so this guy, he's been with the company since the beginning, which is 40 years, and he's still,
oh wow,
he knows his stuff. He actually teaches at our school, and like he knows his stuff. Like he's the only person that I would like actually want to listen to, and because we have a lot of journeymen that are idiots, honestly. But I think they know what they're talking about. You're not the only trade that
does with electrical too.
Yeah, we got it too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But this guy, he definitely knows his stuff, and you just sit there and watch him. It's kind of like you and Paul with your code stuff. It's just like, wow, okay, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, code's easy. Code's easy. You're not catching me climbing up on a building 12 stories, straddling some I-beams, trying to put in a bolt, brother. That is not going to be this fat guy. I'm just saying. So code is easy.
One guy. Yeah, I guess you just sit and read a book, huh?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah, I only learned code and electrical because I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and got really good at looking at the code book. Yeah,
right.
I hear that all the time.
You got that photo memory thing going.
Yeah, he doesn't do it. He's never done it. He doesn't know what it would be like to pull any cable. At least that's what Jay says to me anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with Jay. I watch I've gone out in the field with him, and he explains. He tries to teach me things, which is cool. but I'm in the back of my mind, I'm going, what the hell am I looking at here?
Yeah, right.
I have to remember that too. When I'm
Right.
going somewhere and I start talking electrical and I can't, if you've listened to any of my podcasts, if you ever listen to like the code and fives that I used to do, I got to get it done really quickly. So I start talking real fast. I have to be careful when I'm teaching or somewhere on a seminar or doing something. I'll fall into that mode, and I look at the crowd, and when I notice that I see some glassy stares or I see some people that are like, I realize I'm like, all right, I got to do something. I slow it down. I got to Texasify it a little bit. Just
right. Jay dumbifies it for me.
Dumbs it
When I'm
down.
out there.
Dumbs it down. Dude, I
Yeah,
teach.
but the good thing when I bring Chris on a job site is he's so new to it, because I had him help me run some cable once down in the Castle Rock, and I had him run some NMB with me. And the good thing about bringing a guy like him is they don't really ask too many questions. You just say, hey buddy, grab this cable, pull it from this point to this point, and we'll talk about it once you get it there.
Well, Chris,
and he
you
was
never
just a
wanted to
good
be an
hand for this.
electrician, did you?
No, not really. I get people all the time, say, well, why don't you go to electrician? Your best friend's an electrician. That's not going to happen. Sorry.
Well, what you did was looked at the pay scale and said, that's not working for me.
Well, that too.
Yeah, the pay scale for us isn't nearly as enticing as his pay scale as a first-year apprentice for an ironworker.
I'm an electrician. I don't remember ever. I mean, I've been on plenty of lifts, but I don't ever remember having to walk out on a beam or straddle a beam with a harness or not. So I'm not interested in that.
Wearing 80 pounds of gear on
Yeah,
you,
I'm
that's something I'm not down for.
Jay has seen my harness, and I told him, hey, lift this thing. Let me know what you think. And
what happened?
He was
His
surprised.
trunk was like this. We took out the harness, and the darn thing popped up straight. It was like and then when he put the harness and his gear back in, it was like a low rider in the back of the seat. It was like a 150-pound person laying there, dead weight. The trunk kind of went down a little bit. I was like, "Jeez,
well,
man,
maybe
what
that
the heck
helps
are
you, Chris. Maybe that helps you up on those because the wind, if it's 30, 40 miles an hour, that'd move you around. But maybe that harness is what keeps you, that added weight keeps you centered. Maybe.
Sometimes you get that big old gust of wind, and you better have a good center of balance because you're going in a hole.
Yeah.
The worst that we had with that was Alexandria, Virginia. I was a supervisor over codes, and we had this thing where PV, obviously my guys would have to go up on the ladders to do roof inspections, and I would go over and do roof inspections. So it got to the part where, because of many of the companies had so many liability issues and the city got worried about it, they started saying that even when inspectors went on the roof, they had to put on a harness. Especially if we're looking for the connections, terminations, whatever, when it does to the PV or things like that had to do with the array. And the inspectors were like, I'm not doing that. Because if you're telling me I got to wear a harness, then you're telling me that this is dangerous, and I'm just, so we started allowing video inspections from drones and things like that if you could get it, or we allowed, if we were there and we let the electrician get on the roof, if they want it, we tell them, okay, let us see the connections to the roof, take a picture of it and take it, and it would timestamp it, obviously, and we would tell them what we wanted to take a picture of. And then they showed it to us, and the guys, I was okay with that. I'm still used to getting on roofs because I would go to the job site and jump on the roof. But it got to be so much of a liability issue for the municipality. And then, of course, the contractors were worried about it. And then we made them have to have a harness. And then, again, everybody's a little different with a harness. Your harness is for you.
Yep.
You set it for you. We stopped doing it. So we allowed camera inspections, but as long as the inspector was there and could see you taking the pictures, we were okay with that type of thing. That type of thing. But yeah.
Well, that's how it is at our job. If your average height for a person is 6 feet. So at a job site, if it's 6 feet or higher, you have to wear a harness no matter what. So even if you get on a roof on a residential, that's considered higher than 6 feet. So we would have to wear a harness. We have to wear a harness for everything.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we one of my classmates, we just did the fall protection class, and we were doing that man bridge. He literally fell off of the man bridge that was, I want to say, maybe an inch lower than 6 feet, and he tore himself up pretty good. So it's just, that's the kind of thing. You take a wrong step, you're going, so.
I can't imagine 12 stories up trying to do that type of thing, or
yeah, no, you gotta be tied off for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta be tied off, man.
Absolutely.
Even if you fall in the hole, there are certain ways to save yourself if there's nobody around you, because the thing is people think, oh well, he fell in the hole. That harness, you have 15 minutes before you die, because you can die from falling into a harness.
Oh, you mean just falling and hanging from the harness? What is it?
Yep.
Is that because the weight on the straps can cut off blood circulation, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it becomes it's something, I can't remember what exactly the word of it is, but your blood will get something in your blood, and it'll kill you in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Sure.
So,
sure. I could see that.
And the same with the harness, like the leg straps, if they're too tight, you can deglove yourself.
Well, yeah, because the harness isn't there isn't designed to hang from it more than it is just designed to catch the person from actually having a huge fall, right? I mean, it just catches you to the point to where you can hang there for so long, but hopefully you have a radio or some type of device on you where hey man, I'm over at section 23B. I just fell off of the thing. I'm hanging here. Someone come get me. If there's no one around, right? Because we would always have
so Elwood posted it needs trauma straps. So I'm guessing that is the little loops that would hang underneath the harness that you could put your foot into and push up on, so that you're not.
We don't have those. We don't have those.
Okay.
So we have lanyards that are strapped from the center of our backs that you can connect to safety. So, you could either strap one lanyard onto, the safety rail, and if you fall, you can use that other strap or lanyard to kind of make a loop and try and get your foot up under there and lift yourself up. So you're not having all that pressure on, the straps. So that's a way to get safety done, or get, to pretty much save your life. And we always work with partners too. So that kind of helps too. Or you can use a scissor lift or a boom lift, or, you always have to have a backup plan if somebody does fall in the hole.
So all of you that are doing that, do y'all have a communication between each of you, or is it just not? I mean, electricians, we don't really have any communication. What I'm saying, but when you're working up on the building, do y'all have to have radios and be able to communicate?
The only people that have radios are connectors and crane operators. That's why we always work in partners. So if somebody goes down, there's somebody there to help you or any kind of way. So
right, or to get help, because sometimes it's more than one person job to go save you. I imagine on some of that falling, you're not going to lift someone up single-handedly off of a piece of steel when their whole weight and their setup's on it. So you have to get a hold of someone, like you said, with a boom lift to come grab them or something, or
do steelwork? Do y'all have safety meetings in the morning, just like you do in the big electrical sites? Do y'all have a joint safety meeting?
Yep, every morning we have one. And every job site too. We have to check our harnesses every single day, before shift or at lunch breaks, whatever, because, you can look at a harness and be good, but inside those crevices, say you're welding or something, you get a spark or something that can ruin your harness,
Right.
And even a permanent marker takes away from the dexterity of the harness.
Really?
So you can't even write on your harnesses. if there's any kind of writing on your harnesses,
Gotcha.
it's trash.
Wow. So
Yeah, so we're big on the safety stuff.
So now, Mandingo's asks, do y'all do the mostly stick welding or MIG MIG? And again, for me, I don't know the difference between TIG and MIG and MIG and MIG or whatever. That weld probably was a good thing I don't weld then. But
we
your
do
connections,
a lot of stick, a lot more than stick. We do have MIG, but you have to have a certification on everything you do. So, but mostly it's stick.
Okay. So what's the difference? What's stick welding? Is that
stick weld is pretty much you got a stick with flux on it, and you weld them with a stinger. Okay. MIG weld is wire fed.
It's fed. Core. It feeds it through the actual welding piece.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so stick, you're holding this. It's the one where you're holding the stick, and you're like, got to do it by hand, like.
Yep.
The MIG.
Yep. A lot of people have a lot more trouble with stick because it's a lot harder to.
I guess you got to keep I guess with the stick, you got to keep the flow going right. I mean, you can't be
evenly proportional.
Yeah, with the MIG, it's just pull the trigger and go. With the stick, it's a little more. You gotta, type of thing.
Yep, exactly.
One day I want to go to Harbor Freight and buy one and start, it'd be a little.
I got a welder at home. I got a welder here at the house, and it's a little MIG welder, but I can turn it into stick and all that stuff too. So,
is it a Harbor Freight one?
Yep.
See, there you go.
Yep, yeah. I'm telling you, man, for that type of stuff, Harbor Freight's the way to go for some of that stuff, man. I think I was telling you, I get all my hydraulic knockout sets that go from anywhere from 1/2 inch all the way up to 2 inch. It's a Pittsburgh one, and
I was gonna say it's Pittsburgh, right?
Legit hydraulic pump knockout set.
Did you see the new ones?
You look at these.
Jay, have you seen the Milwaukee ones that have the Milwaukee with the different sets on it, and you just
with the drill?
Yeah, and you boom it out. No longer hydraulics needed. Do you got one? I would think you would have it if it's Milwaukee. No.
I'm not.
Hey, Milwaukee, if you're interested,
I'm just not there yet. Yeah.
Send Jay a punch, and he'll review it, and we'll share it on the show. How bad could it be?
That's right.
That's it. But
no, I've seen them though. I mean, they're amazing, right? Like if you could do it with your drill and all that stuff, boom, that you're in the money. But for an actual hydraulic set in Harbor Freight, and every probably state has a ton of Harbor Freights because they're everywhere. You just go there and for a Greenlee and Milwaukee hydraulic knockout set, Lennox, whatever they are, whatever high end brands, you're paying $500 to $1,000, maybe even more for a Pittsburgh one. I think even with Black Friday sale, you're paying $89.99. It's ridiculous.
You can't go wrong with that.
And
well,
the thing
and that's how it is with one of my
a
tools.
lot of people.
That's how it is with one of my tools. I mean, just one of my wrenches was $60.
Yeah, just one wrench.
It's expensive, man.
Just one. Yeah.
Tools are expensive.
Yeah.
But you had your wrenches. Your wrenches are the ones that look like Wreck-It Ralph would use, right? This big.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
Big,
they got a big old. They got the head of it, which is an inch and a half, and then you got the back of it, which it looks like a spike. Because we use our wrenches for everything. We even use our wrenches to line up the steel.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we have to move that steel by hand, and that could be a pretty heavy steel.
Oh yeah.
And put your back brace on for that day. Jeez. Jeez, I couldn't imagine moving that
people
stuff.
Always ask me, you go to the gym. I'm like, no, I don't go to the gym. I go to the gym every day.
I go to the job. Yeah. They say, do you go to the gym? I go, no, I go to the job, the job.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I don't do any heavy lifting anymore, but
neither does Jay, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
The only heavy lifting he does is when he has to take a drink of his beer.
Mm-hmm. That mold,
No,
whatever he calls
it.
it.
I gotta carry I got to carry everybody's weight around here, whether it's Paul on these freaking podcasts or whether it's you when we're out in public or whether it's whoever, my guys. I mean, I got big shoulders though. You see what I mean? And I got pretty big shoulders. Code strong over here. So
there you go.
Carrying the weight of you.
Exactly.
Cool. Well,
dirty dogs.
Guys, I think we're going to Chris, thanks for calling in and sharing some insight into the Steelworkers. What is it? Steelworkers of America? Is that what the union is called? What is it called? United Steelworkers, or what is it? What's it called? What's your union called?
Mine's just Union 24.
Okay.
Local 24.
Local 24. So a shout out to all the steelworkers in Local 24 in Colorado. Okay. I have no idea what they are down here, and I have no idea. But now I know a little bit more.
They're 435 or 433. That's their local out there. So.
What is it? Bill says he scored a killer deal
Bill's
with some
back.
DeWalt. Killer deal.
Where'd you go, Bill? Home Depot?
Yeah, that's right. Home Depot carries the DeWalt, don't they?
Well, they're doing a huge deal. So like I was in Home Depot about a week ago because they started, the Black Friday about a week early, which is awesome. But they had the deal where you buy 2 18-volt batteries, 5 5.0s, 2 of them with a charger, with a carrying case, with a zipper and everything, for $199. And then not only that, you get a free tool, and they have the list of tools below the deal. And so I went with the Bluetooth, the 12 volt / 18 volt Bluetooth, where you can it doesn't charge the batteries, but it's like a pill style ones, right? It's like a round style one that pretty slick and neat. And I did that twice.
What was it?
Sold one of the
Bluetooth. What was it? You wasn't talking about
it's
Bluetooth,
like a Bluetooth
speaker?
radio. It's a radio.
Dude, you didn't go over to electricianpride.com and pick up the Electrify Bluetooth speaker radio or speaker to stream your favorite podcast from your Bluetooth speaker. If you didn't know that, they're available over on electricianpride.com. 15% off today. Black Friday. Discount code BLACK with a capital B, F with a capital F. Friday with a capital F.
Go get it now.
Go get it now.
Go get it now.
Bluetooth speakers so you can be sitting by the lake and blasting the podcast. Okay, sorry about that.
That's Electrify on any platform. The only thing I didn't like about the Milwaukee deals this year in Home Depot, though, was that last year you could buy a set of batteries like that and get a third battery for free. This year they don't have that deal. It's only a selected amount of tools. Whereas in DeWalt, and Bill might contest to this, is that you could buy 2 batteries. I don't know what
he might attest to it, but I don't think he'll
has.
contest to it. But sorry.
Or yeah, I mean he might be able to tell us whether it's true or not. Is that you buy the 2 batteries, and then you get a third one for free. Which I kind of like that deal, right? They throw the battery deal because you're always needing batteries and you're always wanting to put them on your vans. But he sent a link to a Facebook.
That's a group
post.
We don't generally do that in here, Bill. We don't share other people's groups, but we'll let it slide this time. Okay.
Oh, that's a tool review on there. There you go.
That ain't a tool review. That's a group.
It's electricians only tool review group is what it is.
Just teasing you.
That he sent.
Cool. Yeah,
Milwaukee should have did a third battery.
I'm a Ryobi guy, so we've heard that before. Because like I said, I don't do any work now, so it's all Ryobi. I use them for around the house and the yard work and all that kind of stuff. See, no, because
think about getting the RotoZip.
I have RotoZip. I'm
thinking about getting that because that was.
I actually have the RotoZip when it first came out with the cord, and I have the RotoZip in the Ryobi as well. And dude, it was killer for cutting in things. I used to have this job. I used to get called out a lot for these fluorescents that were falling through the ceiling at jobs. They'd call me and say, dude, the fluorescent that's surface mounted, and they're using, what is it? wing bolts. What are those things called? Toggle bolts. And they're using toggle bolts, and
Yeah.
they didn't use the right, it's too small of the toggle wing part. And so as the heat from the luminaire would cause the sheetrock to dry out, the weight would cause them to fall out of the ceiling. So I found it was so much easier. So I bought a bunch of metal pieces that are about, it was just a bunch of, from, I think it was Lowe's. I would always have on the truck some of these flat, thin metal pieces, and I'd get these calls. And since underneath the luminaire, since it would blow out a lot of the sheetrock, but not enough that you could see it from the luminaire because it's behind the luminaire, how did you repair that? So I would take these pieces of aluminum, and I would go and I'd take my rotozip and I would cut like ovals in it where the bolt could go, where the toggle bolt would go, and then I would go under and put that. And since it was longer, it would use more of the sheetrock to support the weight rather than just the toggle bolt. And I would lay that up in there, and then I could push the toggle bolt back up through the hole, through the actual metal, flat piece of metal, and then it would catch on the other side of the aluminum sheet, which is probably like a quarter of an inch. You can get them in the sheets at Lowe's. And anyway, I'd cut a piece up there, and that would support the weight. And that way I could make a quick fix of all those things. And all I'd have to do was just cut little ovals in them so that the existing toggle bolt would go up through it. And so in the attic, I would put that on the top side of the sheetrock, and I would push the toggle bolt up through the sheetrock that's been blown out now and through the hole in the metal. And then it would catch on the other side of the flat piece of metal, and it would support the weight because it was using more of the sheetrock to support the weight. So I used my rotozip for all of those. So a really quick zip, 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 and I would do that.
Well, I'm thinking too. Well, that's actually a really good tip or trick, man. Tip and trick, should I say, for that, because I know you're talking about, you tighten up those.
And it pulls through the ceiling.
Pulls too much and they pull in. I mean, they're designed to be snug, but sometimes they pull in, depending on how big of a dang hole you got to drill out, because you're not drilling out the size of the hole for the bolt. You're drilling out the size of the hole for the wing nut to go through, which is almost sometimes about damn near twice as big as the freaking screw you're putting in there. So you're leaving a big hole in the.
And if you didn't pick the right size wings and you went with the smaller ones, then it's barely a little bit on each side of the sheetrock hole. And over time, when it dries out, the heat rises up through it. It'll cause it to get brittle, and you'll be sitting there, and then next thing you know, one side or whatever just fall right out of the ceiling. If it's
falls in.
2 by 4 foot fluorescent surface mount, I would go into a building. They'd call me, and I'd see 3 or 4 of them with one side hanging and things like that. So this was a quick fix for me to be able to go up in the attic, cut the piece of metal, cut the hole out with the rotozip, put it up in there, push the toggle bolt through, and it would catch on the other side of the metal, and then tighten it back up, and I just keep on getting it. Quick way to fix it. And that's what I used my rotozip for that.
Get it, boy. Mm-hmm. Get it.
In and out. Just get in, get out, make that money, move on somewhere else. That type.
I'm gonna have to try that. I know we're struggling sometimes with the 6-inch wafer brackets or even 4-inch wafer brackets that we put during the rough stage that the whole. The nice thing about wafers, if you don't know what a wafer is, it's a smaller LED recessed housing, I guess. It's not like a can. It's a small light that you don't need no J-box for or that whatnot. You can Google them, 6-inch. They're kind of the way of replacing the 6-inch recessed cans, right? Because you can get them into tighter spots than you can. Yeah. Your layout kind of fits a little nicer and easier. So sometimes you straddle that what do they call that? That member above you, the floor joist above you. You straddle that, or you that 6-inch or 4-inch opening is there's a piece of that floor joist above it. Well, the drywallers for us, they like to just stop at that point. So they'll cut like a half a moon or a 3/4 moon around, and once they hit that floor joist, they just stop, and then they knock it out, and then my guys do the rest. And I was just thinking maybe if we got a rotozip, that might make that little bit of cutout a little easier. I don't know.
I love mine. When I used it a lot, I loved it. It takes the same rotozip bits as a rotozip, and now all of them, a bunch of them. You can buy them I used to get them in a pack of 10 or 15 bits in there, spiral bit.
Yeah.
I guess Milwaukee makes one. I'm pretty sure they make everything else. I'm sure they make one, and I know how you like Milwaukee. But again,
Well, that was
You
one
got
of the free
Milwaukee
tools.
King over here.
If I buy the batteries. What's that?
You got the Milwaukee King over here. Basement King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love my Milwaukee, man. I love my red and black. Not that I'm opposed to anything else. So if anybody else out there wants to send me stuff to try, hey, I'll be more than willing to try it. But I just keep, the Milwaukee stuff on. And we've talked about this before. Their warranty work is phenomenal. Their warranty on their 5-year warranty. I don't even buy the Home Depot warranty. They ask you when you go to the
Oh yeah, I don't ever get
to
that.
the counter.
I don't ever get
Hey,
those.
you want to buy the 2-year extension plan? I say, oh heck no. I'll just bring it down to
Dude,
Milwaukee and
but I usually when they ask for that stuff, I'll be like, dude, I'm gonna be buying a new one anyway, probably in 2 years, so I'm not worried about it.
yeah, right.
Don't worry about it. So
It's like, listen, you don't want to take back one of my tools that cost me $200 when I've done over $100,000 worth of product in your store within the last year, and you're not gonna replace that for me? Come on, like I'll use that as leverage if I have to, if I had to. I haven't had to yet, but I would.
yeah, I mean,
I spend more money in this store than your paycheck, than your salary, bud. No,
there you go. Now, like I said, most people know I used to use the Milwaukee right angle with the extension, with an auger bit, 6-inch auger bit, and I just could do the trusses and the joist, ceiling joist, without even having to, get on a ladder. That was the way to go. But that's back when we corded. I've never wired a house where I used a cordless. I never have. And as many as I've wired,
we use them all the time.
My brother does too. He uses, and again, you joke about the Ryobi. My brother does a lot of electrical work. He uses the Ryobis with those Irwin bits, and he just gets it, boy. Just boom, boom, boom. And I said, how long can you go on a battery? And he's like, dude, he can go a long time on batteries. And I'm like, dude, I always thought that I would be done drawing that thing down 30 minutes into it, and then I'm like, dude, I can't just keep switching batteries. But he goes a long time drilling the holes. I guess it's all about the sharp bit and everything, and Irwins are great for that. I just always use the cords.
Piece of steel.
Yeah. Then probably wear it out. Yeah, that's like so.
Yeah. Those require certain bits for sure. I'm not using my everyday use bits on that thing. I'd probably actually have the iron workers provide that drill bit for me, because they probably know what bits need to go through their steel before I do. I'm just saying.
Well, steel carbide bit, but again, y'all probably don't. I will go out on a limb on this, Chris. Y'all probably don't do y'all do a lot of drilling? I mean, most of the stuff comes already pre-holed, right? Punched already, and right?
Yeah, but a lot of the time we just use the torch to cut things off.
Oh, cut it off or blow a hole through something with a torch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you
but
guys
most of the time it's already pre-done.
Are you guys so bad to the bone that you blow a hole in the steel and then light your cigarette at the same time?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh yeah. You gotta light a torch with a cigarette.
Somebody said you have a Bic, and like, what? No Bic? I got a torch.
Right. Technically, you're not even supposed to. You're supposed to use a striker, but most of the time we don't even have one. So.
Oh, that's the little. What is that? The striker, the thing that makes a spark.
Yep.
Why is my dog going crazy? Dog's going nuts.
Crazy.
I saw a zombie in the house back there.
Yeah, I think the fan bam got up, and we went out to Best Buy this morning and grabbed a few TVs. So I think everybody's
getting
soon.
TVs for Christmas, courtesy of the Basement King.
Didn't get me one, so I don't know what the deal is.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, Best Buy has a ton of them down here. So if you want to go there and get yourself one, I'm pretty sure they got a bunch of them in stock. I grabbed the last 75-inch TCL one with the QLED in it. So don't look for that one at this store down here.
Costco for the living room. It's a 70-inch. Up in the media room, it's a 75. But I was like, dude, down here, 70, boy, ain't nothing like a good big TV. I swear it. And the prices now are affordable. I remember when I first got my big screen TV back many years ago, and it was a rear projection TV. And that was our big screen. And that thing was like $6,000 for just a projection to give you the big screen. And I remember that was thought I was the bee's knees, man. I had that in my basement.
You were the cool kid on the block.
I was the cool kid on the block with the big old TV. And now you look at and you realize that when I remember seeing that, thinking I had this great picture, it was crap. Boy, these screens you got today, you can see the hair on a gnat's butt. I mean, it is that, QLEDs or whatever they are, and I'm sitting there going, 800, Costco, they had it was a 4K, whatever. I don't know what that one was. It was like $800. I remember this 3 years ago, that same 170 inch was like $2,800 or even more. And before that, you remember when plasma first came out and people were getting $8,000 for a plasma, 55 to 60 inch plasma? Crazy. But now everything has dropped in price. Although now, since most of the stuff is probably sitting on the ships off the coast of California, I guess the prices will probably come up for Christmas this year because we can't get them off the dock. We can't get them off the boat. So
I got a pretty good deal over there at Best Buy, man. I think between the 75-inch one and the 43 one for the kids' room, the savings was for 2 TVs and 2 wall mounts was like $550. So not too bad. Obviously I could have saved a little more if I went with the same size 75 but lower quality. But again, I told the wife, I said, if you're gonna pay for a 75-inch one, get the higher end quality one, even though maybe it's a few more $100, it's still on sale. Get it and roll with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the TVs now, they all have the remote that like in the kids' room. This is for Eliana's room. She's gonna have a 42-inch screen TV. And the remote, you just hit the Netflix button on the remote.
Oh,
and boom, there goes Netflix. Just so simple. Or Disney Plus or Hulu or whatever it is, whatever flavor you guys are with.
I got LG because I wanted the LG network or the LG channel. Dude, you almost don't even need to have cable with that. If you got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you don't even need cable anymore.
Dude, it gets hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of channels on that LG thing. And I'm like, that's sick. I remember back when it was like rabbit ears to get something, but boy, now it's so you could get these built in, and then you got the Roku if that's what your thing is, or there's so many different. But I mean, it's credible. I love LG, although I'm a Samsung guy. I love LG.
Yeah, same.
So but I have TLCs. I have a TLC in one of the other rooms, which is the. Funny thing is supposedly like TLCs and others are supposed to be lower market cost wise, but people don't realize that inside of it's the same boards. It's just that you're not paying the name from somebody else that jacks the price up on it. You're still getting the same quality of screen and picture, but many of the manufacturers do that. You sell them under different names and things like that.
It's I think it's TCL.
Is it TCL?
TCL.
I was like, what's TLC?
But still, because that's the one I just bought. Yeah, so it's TCL, and I went in because they had one that was 75 that didn't have the QLED board in it, and it was about $700, or maybe it was 600. And then they had the 75 that had the QLED, which was the Samsung board in it, right? And the guy was saying, hey, if you're gonna pay for it, get the clearest picture you can get. The wife's like, yeah, get the clear picture. You know what I mean? Let's do it. And so it was like, that one was $9.99. So it was about $300 more. Same depth or same manufacturer, same size, but the panel board, like you said, that was in this one was an actual Samsung, and they didn't have the Samsung one on the shelf. We didn't want to wait till Monday to get it, so we just went ahead and bought this TCL one.
Yep. And it will play the same way.
It was $12.99. What's that?
And it'll play the same way. It'll run the same. It'll look exactly the same. So the only difference in some of these, the only big difference in some of these TVs is, again, what hertz does it run at? The big thing now is 240 hertz as far as the TVs. As far as its picture, other than that, make sure you have, HDMIs and again, for me, the big thing was Wi-Fi, to connect to Wi-Fi. That's the big thing. I have I use Fire Sticks a lot. So my Fire Sticks that go in, and of course I have different apps on my Fire Sticks that allow me to get a lot of channels. And so I do that with the Fire Stick. And again, got to have the HDMI to plug that in, boy, but it's really cool. Looky.
And she is teething so bad. You can see that both sides of her cheeks are just red as could be. Say hi.
Well, stop beating up on her. She'll be fine.
Say hi. If your son would stop beating on her, comes over here and pushes her off her darn trampoline, smacks her in the face. Tell you what. You see the baby? You see the baby? What is that?
It's a cutie.
Yeah. She just woke up, so she's kind of like still getting her bearings going. Oh, little mama.
Well, she's like, Daddy, it's time to get off of the video podcast because it has been 3 hours and 32 minutes. So we are going to go on and get off this thing and let everybody get back to their shopping for Black Friday. Chris, I want to thank you for calling in again. Always love to have call-ins and insight, and glad you listened to the show, supporting Jay and everything like that. Sounds like a good friend. Make him pick the tab up. Continue to pick up the tab. That's all good.
Oh yeah, I got my ways.
That's right. That's right. And anytime you want to come on the show and share some good dirt on him, just feel free to. This is a way.
Right.
This is a way for you to come on and get back at him, and it's all good.
There we go.
All right, brother.
Shade my way, brother.
Yep. Well, take care, Chris.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for calling in.
All right, you too.
All right.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Chris.
Bye.
See ya.
Cool. There you go. So, as example of future shows, future call-ins, boy, that's going to be awesome. We're going to have all kinds of, and sometimes videos. That'll be cool as well. So,
Raise it up just a little bit. You can see yourself.
She's
well, so I have this screen that you're on the Skype. Look, there's the bear. You see it? The bear. But then I have the YouTube side pulled up, and she's trying to see if she can see herself on the YouTube side. So
absolutely. All right. Well.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, it's a great. The streams worked out good. Everything seemed to work out good. So, again, hopefully you all will join us next week. Again, let everybody know what's going on. Wednesday night next week, we will have our normal exam prep. So those are in the Fast Tracks program. Our monthly subscribers, make sure you join us for the Wednesday nights exam prep. Bring your questions, bring whatever you want to chat about during the Wednesday night. It will be streaming it so folks can watch it. They can't participate, but they can watch it. And of course, Thursday night, we will have our Electrify podcast, video cast. And again, I'm not sure what the topic is for that, but I think I kind of moved it. I think it might be the Pookie and whatever discussion and things like that. So not cozy. We're going to talk about anything, but again, we'll talk about that's an example of 3 or 4 different topics that we might pick up on the show, or any current events, anything you want us to talk about. Make sure you send it to us at hosts@Electrician Live. And I'm typing it in, Jay, because your hands are full. So hosts@electricianlive.com, or host with without the S. It's up to you. But hopefully you'll join us and enjoyed the day's stream, and hopefully it worked for you and you didn't have any problems. If you have any feedback on it, then don't give her any of that. Feel free to let us know, and we would love to hear from you about it. So, all right, without any further, Jay, do we want to say anything to everybody? Again, they spent 3 hours and 35 minutes with us. So,
yep. Just go get the best deals you can and tell us all about it this Thursday.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Take care. God bless.
See ya.
listening to Electrify with your hosts Paul Abernathy and Jay, the Basement King Grunberg.